And welcome to a new episode of the Wikid Weekend podcast. Today, I'm joined by a fellow creator, Ebi Canales, and welcome. Excuse me. My name is Michael, and I'm one of the co-founders of Wikid Publishing. And today, as I said, we're joined by this awesome creator. So, welcome, man. How's it going?
Hola. I'm as always. I'm delighted to be here, guys. It's always a pleasure to hang out with you.
Very nice. And usually we have a bit of a big roster, but today we're doing a two-man show until whoever else wants to show up. Maybe some people will pop in here. But for now, we're just chilling, the two of us. So we're going to talk a little bit about our projects and then kind of just dive into whatever else we got going on. So I always like to start first, on these podcasts, kind of talking about what you got going on creatively. So why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are for those who maybe don't know who you are, and what projects you got going on.
Well, I'm sure they know who I am, but just in case.
Right, if you don't, then you should be ashamed of yourself.
Exactly. I mean, I'm OG Comicsgate. I was there to draw the first graphic novel. I think that was the first one, right?
Was it really?
One. I think it was.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
I don't know. Maybe I'd be wrong.
Arguably, at the very least.
Feel free to correct me. But if I recall correctly, Ironsides was the first, I think, official comic project, like the project that proved that you could actually make money, like with a
true.
channel
That's a good
and all
point.
that. And so I don't know. I'm not trying to blow my own horn here. I'm just
but I mean, you guys did. You should be proud of what you guys did there. Coming from a new property, not based on anything, it's not easy for new stories always to make it. So it's awesome to see that.
So, in that regard, I'm pretty happy about myself. I'm pretty satisfied. So yeah, I'm also the guy who wrote and drew Decimators, now being published by the fine lads at Wikid Publishing. And I always feel like I need to pimp that comic more, because everyone keeps asking me about Ironsides and SOS and whatnot. And yeah, what about my own stuff? What about my own IP?
Seriously, no, you got a good point.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the other day I was doing a live stream with Captain Fuckhead. Can I say Fuckhead?
Yeah.
I mean, that's his name.
It's his name. Come on, it's his name.
Yeah, I mean, it's not my fault. That's how he calls himself.
Right.
So yeah, I was on this live stream with Captain Fuckhead, and he was like, "Wait, you have like your own web comics, and you never told us." And I was, "Yeah, no, you're right. I never tell anyone about that.
You never asked.
About it." I think I have that problem. I never talk about myself unless someone asks.
Right? Yeah. It's funny, man. But yeah, no, I mean, it's true. You got a whole line of comics, and we've been putting them out. We've been having a hell of a time getting the fourth one out. We have it at the printer right now, so it's actually in the proofing process as we speak.
Oh, cool. So, I'm glad to know that someone's still printing comics, because I thought that had like pretty much ended with the rest of the world.
Yeah, I know it's kind of crazy, huh? Yeah. And but now here at Wikid, we're determined to keep on rolling. We want to keep putting stuff out, and we got a bunch of we have about 5 comics that are in the proof process right now, and we're looking to see how we can get the magazine possibly printed simultaneously. So the new issue, that is. So a lot of stuff coming up.
Yeah, no, that's good news. I mean, among a slew of bad news, like a lot of big publishers closing the printers and telling the creators, like, hashtag pencils down and all that.
What does that mean? I actually don't know what that means.
Oh yeah, no. Apparently, DC Comics and several other big names in the comic book game have told their creators to just stop working, like in the middle of the script, in the middle of the page. Yeah, hashtag pencils down.
Damn.
Yeah, no, that's pretty apocalyptic, man. Imagine just telling someone, "Hey, man, we're not putting out any more comics. Just stop working." Oh, shit.
Just stop working and in a field without no way to get money now. Thanks for that. I'm sure these writers were relying on that. Not only that, but I know that Diamond isn't paying anymore.
No,
so
Diamond isn't taking any more orders. I mean, I think they're going to like distribute whatever they have left, and they're not taking any more comics. I mean, they're closing down until further notice.
Yeah, it's very strange. Who ever thought, man, that Diamond could be taken down?
Yeah, I mean, who could ever thought that the guys behind Superman and Batman would be saying no more comics? until we tell you to keep on drawing and writing. So, it's
Right.
pretty scary if you think about it.
And I think that's why it's so important for us indies to be here right now. So Diamond can tell them to stop, and the companies can stop. But us indies, they can't tell us to stop, and so I think we have a duty to help to tell these stories and to help keep this medium alive.
Yeah, someone has to keep comics alive. And
Exactly.
I'm glad, I guess, that it's up to us.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. But we're joined by another fellow Wikid creator. Welcome, Scott. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good, man. I'm doing well. I appreciate it, man. How you been?
Good. Got some mix of good and bad news, but since you were talking about comics that are up for proofing, Wrath is in that category. So pandemic or not, hopefully we can still get that out to our backers.
Exactly. That's the goal, man. That is definitely the goal. Come rain or shine, we deliver. Even if the USPS doesn't.
That takes a lot to slow down. That
right,
and like UPS and all that shipping stuff, like it takes a pretty hefty blow to knock that out.
I'm not surprised. Yeah, it's pretty intense, but we'll see with that. But yeah, I mean, our ultimate goal is to get Wrath out in a decent amount of time, so we can still try and relatively not be too far off of the deadline.
Yeah, I gave quite a bit of time, but who could have predicted the situation we're in? So luckily I haven't had anyone upset or complain to me yet, and I thank every one of my backers for being patient. We're getting it done. That's the bottom line.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, and I know I've been talking with my printer, and I'll probably be talking again with either this weekend or this week, and just get some more updates and stuff. But yeah, he's still working and stuff. So it's
we also got the green light on that other thing, but we'll
keep
we'll announce that once we get official dates.
Exactly, but we got some good stuff coming out, and speaking of good stuff, you guys have seen all the cool comics we've been adding to the digital collection. I take it.
Oh yeah, I was very happy to see that you got both the Mythoverse with its 3 comics and Machi 1 and 2 up there.
Yeah, isn't that awesome? So cool, man. Yeah, I was very excited as that as well. People can start checking out those comics. And actually, was thinking, Ibai, maybe we should talk after, but we could totally put Decimators Volume 4 up on digital while wait for the print version.
Yeah, that was what I was actually thinking about. There should be like this kind of explosion of digital comics now, since you can actually print and distribute them. So I think that's a good idea. At least publish the digital versions until you can have the physical versions in your hand.
Right, exactly, and know that we're working on the physical, but it just may take a little bit more time with everything going on.
And it's understandable. I mean, there's shortages of all kinds now, right?
Exactly, and it's just I feel bad. We've been trying to get Decimators out there for a while, but we've had a number of setbacks. Just haven't been to put it to the back burner for the time. So we appreciate your patience with it, man.
Yeah, don't worry, I understand. I mean, when you're small, you have like the troubles that bigger guys have look also bigger to you when you're small. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, the little things for them are the big things for us.
Yeah,
that's so true. Yeah. But no, I appreciate it, man. But we're still determining. We at some point the ultimate goal is once we can get stabilized after this is we really want to start putting it if not a monthly, at least a bi-monthly release, so we can get more volumes out there. Because I know you're curious and interested in working on a season 2 at some point for yourself.
Yeah, I know.
So we want to get it all out there from print first. Really?
I keep getting asked about am I going to like carry on writing and drawing Decimators? Am I going to like make something, my own IPs again? And I'm like, I don't know if I want to. I mean, I really do want to, but that would mean that I'm getting less jobs
Right,
less
true.
like that, like the work stream has dried up, so I have to
That's a double-edged
keep
sword.
my own stream. So yeah, I don't know if I want to. I mean, I do want to work on my own stuff again, but that would mean I'm getting less popular and worse paid. So yeah, it's a double-edged sword there.
Yeah, that's pretty fun, man. Oh, you're Comicsgate, Comicsgate, God dang it. Comicsgate, whatever. You're the most employable. Damn.
You can say
comic
CG.
creator.
It's okay. Everyone says CG.
I've never stumbled like that before. There's CG's most employable bachelor, Spanish bachelor, I think.
So
you're,
with team. I'm probably just too afraid of being unemployed again. So I will just accept any job commissions that I get. You want to draw this? Of course I want. You want to draw that? Of course I want. Anything.
Hey man, hey man, people like that. They love working with you, and everyone loves your art, and so people love working with you. So I know people are doing that, man.
Yeah, I mean, I make a point of trying to have a really good attitude with people who work with me. So at least there's that. I may not be like the best artist around, but at least I'm nice to have around.
Yeah, do you seem really approachable with the creators that you work with?
Yeah, I've been lucky enough to be working with people who share my sense of humor. I don't know, maybe that's because they see my style and they think, oh, this guy's an asshole like me. So that's why they reach out to me through DMs or whatever. So yeah, I've been lucky enough to be in good relationships with all my fellow creators so far.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And what about you, Scott? You got any projects you're working on while you're at home these days?
So I haven't done anything official yet because I'm waiting to basically seal the deal on chapter 1 and get it out to backers. But once that's done, I already have the script for chapter 2 pretty much ironed out. And Drew's going to work on getting that ready for Emilio. So once we've kind of cleared out shipping and printing costs, then we're going to start rolling out on chapter 2, start getting those pages done, and hopefully we'll have something up on Indiegogo again later this year.
Very nice, man. Very nice. Well, that's awesome.
I can finally tease that variant cover I've had since December.
And have you announced yet who the artist is, or are you keeping that under wraps as well?
I'm keeping that under wraps for now.
A little mysterious.
It's not someone super well known, but it's someone that should be better known because her work is very good. And I picked her for this particular cover because I think it played to her strengths, and you'll all get to see that hopefully soon.
I hope so, man. I hope so. Yeah, dude, that's awesome, man. I've been taking advantage of some of this time myself. I got another my artist. I finished up writing a new issue of one of my comics, and the artist is working on it right now. And hopefully that'll be out soon.
Which one is that? Is that Barrels 3?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I'm probably gonna do Barrels 3 next month, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that one next month, I think. This was actually endemic, believe it or not.
Oh, okay, nice. That was the one that previewed in the magazine, right?
That's right. Yeah, we're actually pretty far ahead on the issues. We're working on issue 3 right now. And I actually decided to take it out of the magazine and print it separately.
Awesome. So is that going to be the same team with your line artist and then Raven on colors?
So I think going forward, we've experimented with a couple different colors now. We the first issue we used Raven as our colorist, and then on our one shot we worked with Ellie Wright. So we kind of have a few different styles, but I think what we've settled on is actually we're going to go with more of an old school comic style, and we're just going to use our flatter Cheryl, aka Anika.
Okay.
And kind of go for more kind of old school comic style.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're really excited about it. We've kind of, as we said, we experimented a couple different ways, and I think we both agree
just watch
that we
out
really
for
like
that
that
noir
one.
patterns. Would you?
I will definitely keep an eye on that.
Oh man.
Although hopefully no one will make me do like redo a whole graphic novels like they do with you.
I've lost like 10 dice of 100 of sanity doing that.
You poor bastard.
Saying, you don't want to do that. Stay away from that kind of jobs.
You think everyone thinks it's all fun and games creating comics, but Canals puts his tears, sweat, and blood into it every day.
Oh yeah, no, shit gets real when you have to change all the layers in 100 pages of art and replace them with another layer. That's when you stare the devil in the eye.
That's an interesting saying. I've never heard that one. Stare the devil in the eye.
Not really. That's cowboy. It's really American. I don't know. I'm just possible, make people forget that I'm from a shithole country.
You may have overshot yourself a little bit. I think you went to the old like 1900s, 1800s or so. Maybe you overshot that one just a little bit.
Oh, you nincompoop.
There you go. Now you're on point. There you go.
It's a process. I'm still learning.
Hey, we want Canals to be American. We want you to come over here and for you to live in our country and become American essentially.
Maybe I should start like a GoFundMe or something to pay for Canals' whatever, I don't know, green card or whatever you. Yeah, nationalization process. Buy him a house in Beverly Hills or whatever.
Yeah, there you go. Oh man, Hollywood. Hey, you'd be pretty close. You wouldn't be too far off from Wikid Publishing, about 6 hours away by car.
Yeah, that's true. You guys from. I really don't like. I don't think I like Los Angeles.
Oh,
sounds like a.
We don't either.
It sounds like a crazy. Yeah. Sounds like it's a crazy.
Sorry if you live in LA. We're NorCal, so yeah, that's not our part of the that's not our part of the state.
I've been there once. I really like it.
Which one? Oh, San Francisco.
San Francisco, yeah.
Yeah, I like it. It's good weather. Nice. Good Bay Area's got good weather. That's my neck of the woods, man.
It's pretty much the same weather we have here in Basque Country, chilly and rainy the entire year. So yeah, I would feel like straight up at home there.
You guys get much fog out there?
Oh yeah, no, it's we're just away from Great Britain in a boat trip, so we have pretty much the same British weather.
Whoa,
maybe a bit warmer, but this is kind of like Ireland.
Okay, that's cool, man. That's really nice, actually. That sounds pretty awesome. At least you get to enjoy some weather, some nice weather. Do you find yourself going on any walks these days?
Yeah, if you have rheumatisms or whatever, maybe this isn't the best place for you. But apart from that, the weather is it's okay. It's not too hot. It's not like in the rest of Spain, which can be kind of like Mexico or something like that, really sunny and warm.
So I gotta talk about movies because I've been watching a shit ton of movies lately.
Cool.
Not that everything's on demand. Have you guys seen The Invisible Man yet?
No, I haven't seen that.
No. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really feel like watching an Invisible Man movie at this point of my life. I mean, I've watched 10,000 of them already.
Really? Yeah, I've never seen. Personally, I've never seen an Invisible Man movie. Actually, this is my first. I'll be honest. It's actually really good. I'll recommend it. It's really good.
It was better than the Mummy.
It's from the.
Oh yeah, way freaking better than The Mummy.
It could be much worse.
Well, they do a good job because what's interesting is you guys know Blumhouse, the production studio. So they're known for basically doing low budget productions that tend to do really well and make a lot of money back, and they do a lot of horror movies. They did the Purge movies, for example, but they did this one, and so the budget compared to the Mummy movie was like a $60 million budget, and this one was like much lower. It was like some $1,000, but it was super inexpensive to make, but it's conversely, it's making way more profit because it was inexpensive but really good, and so it didn't
I
rely
think
on
it's
CG. You know,
it's from the guy who made Upgrade, right?
I don't know. Is that right? The director, you mean?
Yeah, I think it's
Oh,
that.
interesting.
I think it's one of the two guys from Saw. What's his name? Lee Wanell, I think. I
Oh,
think it's the
okay,
same guy who
interesting.
made that.
That makes sense. Actually,
Yeah,
I could see that.
yeah. I think those the Saw guys were actually indie filmmakers. I think they still are. And I actually liked Upgrade quite a lot. I mean, the final twist is kind of shit, but overall the movie was good.
Really?
You could tell it was like an indie movie, like the indie response to RoboCop, something like that.
Sorry, this is too good. I gotta put this up. Michael Layton says, better than the one with Kevin Bacon's Invisible Wang. I don't know.
That is a good question.
That's a really good question. That's a really good question. I don't know.
You can
not
easily
much
beat Kevin Bacon's Invisible Wang.
I mean, it's definitely better than Dr. Manhattan's Blue Wang. I'll give you that. I prefer an invisible one over a blue one any day of the week. But
I'm curious what movie he's talking about.
I'm sure. Oh, maybe there's an invisible movie man.
Come on, none of you guys watched The Hollow Man?
Oh no! I've heard of it. I remember when it came out, but I didn't ever.
It's from Paul Verhoeven. It's from the guy who directed RoboCop.
Yeah, I think I've seen those. There's like 2 or 3 of them, right?
I think there's a sequel, but no one watched it. I think it was like straight to video.
Oh man, that's too funny.
Is that the one where he's like, he gets like dropped in some chemicals or something, and he's like wraps himself up and stuff?
No, that's this one's about some scientists carrying out an experiment, and the guy who volunteers for the experiment is actually a massive dick before the experiment, and the experiment only makes him worse because it's apparently based on some Platonic stuff that says that if you don't have to look yourself in the mirror, there's like no accountability, and you can act like a total asshole because you don't have to look at yourself in the mirror again. So that's the basis of the premise.
Yeah. So did they defeat it just by sticking a mirror up to him or something like what? Like they they show him a picture of himself.
I think that they just I don't know. I can't remember the thing. I think it's one of those movies that that you've watched, but you can't remember a thing about it. And I think I remember that the transformation scene, so to speak, was quite famous because of how it was like made. Like the guy, they inject him with some kind of chemical just renders his skin invisible, so you can see him like all his exposed muscles as the guy thrashes and screams, and then then his muscles.
I've seen pictures of it.
Right, that's probably the most famous part of the movie, the transformation scene.
Transformation scene, very interesting.
Well, no, apart from that, no one seems to remember it.
You might enjoy the new one. It's very suspenseful, very tense movie. I highly recommend it.
I'm catching up on stuff. I just finally saw John Wick 3.
Oh, really? What'd you think, man?
I liked it.
It's a good movie, right?
Yeah, there's a part in the beginning though.
I'm thinking I'm back.
Where I'm like, why is he just running and leaving all those super useful guns behind?
He doesn't need them. He doesn't need all those guns.
That's video game. That's video game thinking. That's
right?
How you play video games.
Yes. John Wick is just like a video game, isn't it?
That or D&D. You're like, pick up the loot. Why are you leaving the loot?
But that's because the guns that he has have been already upgraded. The guns and also of the other guys, even though they might be looking.
Go ahead. I understand not getting, that gun over, one of his upgraded guns, but at that point he had no gun, so a gun is better than no gun.
He doesn't need guns. He is a weapon. He is the weapon. Remember that?
Maybe
that knife scene, man.
Oh yeah, no, that's awesome. I mean, that's probably has the best fight scenes in recent movie history.
Yeah.
My fight scene is amazing.
Some of my favorite fight scenes, obviously the knife fight scene was so amazing, just the way they were throwing all those knives, and I love the motorcycle fight. That shit was crazy.
Which one? I think there were 2.
Oh, the one where he was like smashing people around. If that makes any sense.
The one with the swords, right? Like it's in
I
a
think
tunnel
so.
or
Yeah, the
something,
sword one. That's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the sword one I think was at towards the end when he's trying to get back to the Continental.
Yeah, that was dope. That was like, damn, dude, this movie is nuts. Yeah, dude, I can't wait
I
for
like how
John
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love how the first John Wick movie was more like a noir thriller drama. It was like more restrained,
Mm-hmm.
and as the series progresses, it becomes crazier and more over the top. And the guy's like taking on like 20 SWAT members all on his own, and he survives like a 200 feet fall, stuff like that.
Oh,
Dude,
Michael pointed out the movie I was thinking of, not Hollow Man, Dark Man.
oh, Darkman. Oh, I was wondering what he was talking about. I thought he was saying what we were talking about was dark. I was like, really?
No.
No. That Darkman is amazing. It's probably Sam Raimi's best movie.
Really?
Yeah, go watch it. It's
do love me some Sam Raimi, dude. I do love me some good Sam. Oh, really?
Yeah, no, go check it out.
Liam
It's
Neeson
a really good movie. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I'll also watch that one. Got a lot of stuff to watch now. I'm gonna check out that Train from Busan later, I think.
Oh, you haven't seen that one?
Nope, I heard it's good.
Is
it good?
It is, but as a parent, like it is a
rough
shot
watch?
to the gut. Like
say no more. I understand.
But it's a great movie. They do some really cool effects, and I think that they're all done because you know how like they did like World War Z, where it's all like CGI.
Oh yeah.
They do some stuff similar, but it's all practical effects.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So more like the Walking Dead style, really, with the like more makeup and prosthetics and stuff.
No, it's more like just almost like choreography with actual using people to like stack on top of each other and stuff like that.
I'll have to see it. Personally, it sounds interesting. It's kind of like a new take, maybe.
Yeah, that's a good movie. I think they managed to keep like the budget down because even though it's a global story, it's focused on a single train. So you can really focus on making the zombies as scary and as realistic as possible. And as Scott said, it's not so much a matter of makeup as it is a matter of how the director has the zombies move. Like they're like really twitchy and convulsive, and you can tell that there's something wrong with them.
Well, I love the setting. I love the setting because it's one of those great. I think one of the great things about horror, and when you do a setting like this, is the single location setting where you can't necessarily easily escape. That really creates a lot of tension. Like you're on a moving train, you can't get away.
That's also kind of your best shot of getting to where you want to go.
That's wild, huh? Yeah,
I also went and watched an old B movie from back in the day. I'm sure Ebi's probably seen this one, Robot Jocks.
Jocks.
Yeah. Dude? Oh man, I love that movie as a kid. Oh man, come on.
Oh my god, what is that?
It's basically it's like Rocky. It's actually like Rocky 4, but if instead of a Sicilian guy and a Russian guy, they had 2 giant robots. And whoever wins gets to keep Alaska. That's the plot.
Yeah, it's this weird dystopian future where after the nuclear war, they decided that there's 2 superpowers left, and instead of going to war, they just have trial by combats with giant robots.
Sounds about right. Yeah, it's like what you would naturally do if that were to arise. I mean, hell, Japan and America already had a robot fight. What was that, man?
I mean, if we were to substitute war with giant robots fighting, I mean, that would be good for everyone.
It would. It really would. Totally honestly.
Down with that.
Yeah. Who can build? It would all be about who can build the best robot. Who would make jobs, save lives.
There you go.
Make it happen.
So it's an untapped industry.
That'll be my presidential platform. I'm running on the robot wars for the future of the world.
There was this weird scene though that
thank you.
That I didn't think about too much as a kid, but like he goes in and starts fighting this Russian guy, and then his first move is to like fly off into space and then crash land right back into the same stadium. Just like, why did we do this?
Sounds like a Final
badass.
Right, it sounds like a Final Fantasy finishing move, dude. Like, let's go into space and then come back down and smash into the person.
That's some Dragon Ball shit right there. I mean, you have to get so high to, like, when you fall down, you create like this expansive effect, like this area of effect that completely wipes out the opposition. So you have to fly out to space.
That was my first thought, because I didn't remember the scene. It's like, oh, he's gonna fly up and then come smashing down. No, he flies up into space. The other guy chases him. They're in the stratosphere. The bad guy like takes out his like rocket foot, and then he like comes back and crashes back down on the planet in the exact same stadium that he took off from.
Does this stadium get destroyed, or is it like intact still? Is like, does it make a good landing?
I'm not going to spoil the movie.
Okay, fair enough.
It's actually the good thing about that movie is that it was actually written by a classic sci-fi writer. I can't remember who. I think it was maybe Joe Haldeman. I don't know if you guys know Joe Haldeman.
I love him, dude. I love him. My favorite.
There you go. I think he wrote the script. Just so you know.
Oh really? Oh dude, I love my favorite by him is the Forever War. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to quote. Yeah, the Forever War. That's the guy.
Fuck. Yes, dude. That's awesome. That's really cool. That's interesting. I trust his work. He's a very talented sci-fi writer. He's been in the industry for a long time.
I think he actually hates the movie because the studio actually interfered a lot. Like, like they always do.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the actual story behind the whole robot thing, it's actually pretty good.
That's hella dope, dude. Yeah, check out that movie. Check out Joel Haldeman. Check out Forever War, because for you guys didn't know, I actually read in college from one of it's pretty much my all-time favorite classes. It was called Physics for War, Physics for Peace, and then also English for War, English for Peace. And it was a joint English class and physics class. And it had this. It introduced me to some of my favorite books that I've ever read, and that was one of them. And it's basically it's interesting. It takes place in a future world where they're fighting a war against these aliens. But the interesting part is these soldiers basically have to travel to these planets to fight, and because they're traveling such great distances, I don't want to spoil too much, but a lot of time passes, and so there's a lot of interesting things that come about that. And just it's a really interesting, hard science fiction, and kind of just the dealing with the reality of war and what that is like even in the future.
Sounds a little bit like Ender's Game.
It's a little bit like Ender's Game, a little bit, but more maybe a little more adult, I would say, because it's not about, for one thing, it's not about kids.
Well, I think Joe Haldeman was a Vietnam vet, right? I think he went to Vietnam.
I think so, yeah. I believe that's right, and so yeah, you definitely get that sense that it's written by someone who's experienced it. So it's a good book. It is awesome. I actually listened to it on audiobook, so I recommend the audiobook. But yeah, I could go on for days of all that stuff. So
well, now you know. You go watch a giant robot movie written by Joe Haldeman.
What's the name of it again?
On your list. Robot Jocks.
Robot Jocks. I have to watch that. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, Jocks has an X in it.
Oh, it does. Okay, that's good to know. Yeah. Although Google corrected me, so
it's pretty funny too, because like like the whole, when you go on stage, you don't say good luck, you say break a leg. Their whole thing is crash and burn.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
See, that's what I mean. I mean, for like a B movie about giant robots, it's got like really good world building. And the characters have arcs. Like it's an actually well written movie for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for what it is. I mean, there's some like B movie cringe in there, but it's one that you can sit down and laugh. Yeah, laugh and have fun and enjoy.
You gotta cut them some slack in that regard.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, true. Now. Another. Do we have any Artemis Fowl fans in here by any chance? Anybody?
I'm sorry. Which
Artemis
fans?
Fowl? Artemis Fowl. Anybody read the books?
No. I'm too old for that.
No, so I'm too old for now. I'm too old for now, but I read them when I was a kid. I read them when I was like in I'm gonna say middle school. But the movie, the only reason I bring it up is they're actually dropping the new movie on demand next month.
Yeah, I heard that. since movie theaters aren't open anymore, you have to publish your movies somewhere.
Right. I mean, everyone's doing it. It's just it's either that or you push it back. And like, for example, Black Widow being pushed back. They're not gonna. It costs too much money. They can't afford it to put it on.
Wonder Woman pushed back. I think.
Oh yeah, pretty much every big blockbuster probably. I bet Godzilla gets pushed back.
Well, let's hope
Pixar
this will be.
Is actually on the new. What was it? Onward, the new Pixar movie is actually on Disney.
Yeah, I saw it.
Already.
I saw it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's on Disney Plus. I saw it on demand actually. I rented it on Amazon, but it's actually really good. It's funny, dude. Okay, so if you guys don't know what Onward's about, it's totally based on D&D. It's freaking awesome, dude. It is great. It's a Pixar movie based on D&D, pretty much, and magic and stuff. But yeah, like there's a lot of D&D tropes in there, dude. It's freaking good. If you're a fan of that stuff, like you're gonna really enjoy that.
So the premise is it was like a D&D world, but like magic was difficult to master, and so science kind of takes over.
It's easier, yeah.
Yeah, because it's just easier. Like there, you see this guy that's like trying to like learn to like light, torches and stuff with his wand, and then you see someone like flicking a switch to turn on light. And it's like, oh, this is so much easier. So there's this whole like lore and stuff that's been kind of buried, but there are like D&D games that kind of are based on history in that world. It's really kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's a really interesting meta kind of an homage to that whole tabletop genre and to D&D, and they do it in a really interesting way. Of course, Pixar always does great stuff and great writers. So, save for the Cars movies. So yeah, no, it's good. It really is a fun movie, and I quite enjoyed it. I actually had no idea it was going to be about D&D until I started watching. I was like, wait a second, these are D&D references. This is good.
Well, we need only one like that, but except set in the Cthulhu mythos, like in the Chaosium role-playing game world. That would be so cool.
Well, I thought you meant a Pixar Cthulhu movie.
There's actually an animated Cthulhu movie.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, there's this guy on YouTube called Possum Reviews. He calls himself Possum because he finds. And there's actually an animated H.P. Lovecraft movie, and actually I think Mark Hamill is in it playing. I don't know why. Maybe Naya Laugh.
You know what? I remember. I actually remember hearing about this. There's actually 2 of them, I think.
I think so. Yeah. So I don't know. That wouldn't be too far fetched.
It's called Howard Lovecraft. Actually, they have a couple, and they got Howard Lovecraft and the Frozen Kingdom. They have the Kingdom of Madness. So yes, they have a number of them. They're these little.
Oh yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah, like Saturday morning cartoon Cthulhu style. Is that what I'm hearing?
2 of them.
Well, yeah,
it looks like a Jimmy Neutron episode.
Yeah, like a Jimmy Neutron episode. Yeah, really. Oh, dude,
I just remember his nerdy friend had some of the best lines.
Really?
Where he's always talking about Ultralord and. I used to be able to do that
shit, dude.
I used to be able to do the voice a little bit, but.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
You understand? We need to listen to that now, right?
What?
You have to do the voice.
I have to do the voice?
I mean, you just teased it. I mean.
I said I used to. I don't know how.
He did say that. I remember.
All right, I'll give it. A shot. How I relish these times of peril.
Can you do Carl?
Which one's Carl?
He's the fat one.
No, I don't think I ever did Carl.
The large one.
The big bone one. Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong on that one. I actually just pulled that out of my ass, so I don't know if that's even right or not. But it sounded right. It sounded right in my head. Trying to screen share this HP Lovecraft thing because it's freaking hilarious. Here, let's see. Yeah, here it is. So here's the animated thing.
The voice acting is pretty crazy. I mean, there's Finn Wolfhard from Stranger Things, Mark Hamill, Christopher Plummer.
Well,
in this Lovecraft thing?
Pretty serious.
If you're getting voice acting right, you got to have Mark Hamill.
Hell yeah, dude! Mark Hamill's awesome. You can make any project better.
Did you know he skipped from a regular show? I did not know that for the longest time.
What does that mean? He skipped?
No. You've ever seen regular show?
Oh, he's a character.
Yeah, he's.
Oh no, I haven't seen that. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I watched that show for like years, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, this is Mark Hamill." I'm like, "What?"
Dude, that's so awesome. Yeah, he's just so cool. He just does such good voice work, and he always chooses really good projects. I always like to see him and stuff.
He's actually the bad guy in Metalocalypse, I think.
No, really?
Huh. He's done a bunch of voices in Metalocalypse.
Well, it's interesting. I love it when like famous people just pop up in random things. Like, I can't remember exactly how, but I heard like things like, famous actors appearing as stormtroopers and things like that, and just different random things like that. Yeah,
weird random stuff.
Like Keanu Reeves pops up in movies apparently in weird ways a lot. So I've heard. So it gets out there.
Well, he appears in like a bunch of indie movies, like making cameos or whatever. I think Jason Momoa is like that also. You can be like watching a really cheap movie on Netflix, and suddenly Jason Momoa will pop out of nowhere. Like, what the hell is that guy doing here?
Are you lost? This is an Aquaman 2 set. Get out of here. I heard they might replace him with Aquaman.
Yeah, you mean Amber Heard?
No. Jason Momoa. I heard they might replace him as the Aquaman character.
Really, but he's perfect in the role.
I know, right? I was surprised when I heard that article.
He's probably one of the few good casting choices in the entire DC universe. Jason Momoa as Aquaman. Everyone likes Jason Momoa as Aquaman.
Yeah, dude, I know, right? It's just him and Wonder Woman are just about the only two that people really.
Yeah. Who would you get to replace him?
The Rock, I guess. The Rock would be about the only one I don't want to see there. No? Really?
I mean, if you didn't already have Jason Momoa, yes.
But I mean, come on, it's The Rock. Are you gonna tell me?
I don't know, man. Mickey Rourke. Why not? Why not cast Mickey Rourke? Go all out. Mickey Rourke is Aquaman.
So I would say my favorite Super Bowl commercial from this last year was the Jason Momoa one, where he's just like the little scrawny dude.
Dude, that actually creeps me out, dude. They still play that all the time. It always creeps me out, dude. It doesn't look right. It's like the Captain America did, dude. Like how they did it in the first Captain America movie.
Yeah. It's just funny trying to watch him like do the bench press, and he's just doing the bar.
That's funny. Apparently Neostar says Mark Hamill voiced several characters on a regular show, one of which was Scare. Yes, one of which was Skip. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, I'm surprised you don't watch that show. I think you'd enjoy it.
Yeah, I used to watch more stuff, but I've stopped watching a lot of American cartoons, I guess you could say. Like Adventure Time, I fell off of, and I don't know why. I never got into what's that other one everyone likes? Steven the Universe or something.
Yeah, I never really caught on to that one. That one's like a lot of the linear shows where they're doing like a big long story, like especially if it's not something I can like sit down and watch at my own leisure, I usually lose interest. A regular show was just perfect because you could just almost watch, especially in the earlier seasons, just an episode and not really miss out on a lot.
Oh, really? Interesting. Okay, I can see why you'd like that. Yeah,
it does kind of evolve into something that has like a broader story, but it starts off just one shot.
Oh, really? That's interesting. Yeah, it's funny. Actually, have you seen the original short it's based on?
No. There's a
dude. Look it up on YouTube. You will laugh your ass off. Look up look up regular show original video, whatever. I don't know how you look it up, but it's like a 5 or 6 minute little thing that they put out on YouTube that was then why they got the show. But it's so adult, dude. It's way more adult than the show is, and it's freaking hilarious, dude.
Which kind of makes sense in a way because like there's a bunch of jokes that are in the show that like kids wouldn't get.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
This is what I need to become more American. I need an education on American TV and what stuff can I watch on TV and which stuff shouldn't I be watching? Like I really want to watch Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Oh, really? Yeah, Dog's a good one. Dog, and then Dog. He's on. Did you know Dog's on Hawaii Five-0? Dog the Bounty Hunter is a character on Hawaii Five-0 who's been on like a bunch of episodes.
That's how you know you've made it in life when you're so cool that they turn you into a fictional character.
Right? Oh yeah, seriously. Oh man, but no, dude. So if you want to know, here's your education. Have you seen Breaking Bad?
No, but I am aware
there.
that it exists.
Yep, start there.
I actually just watched El Camino last night.
Oh, nice, dude. Oh, that's awesome, dude. What'd you think?
I thought, like, why is he still here? When is he leaving town? Like,
seriously, man, get the hell out of here. We thought you left a long time ago. But it was interesting. What did you think? Did you like it?
I did. It's very. I thought it was, kind of cool. Even though my instinct would be to get the hell out, it was very much, I think, true to the character and was very cool with some of the flashbacks they did and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, I loved all the cameos, the flashbacks, and honestly got some nice closure on some certain things I enjoyed, which was cool. And so yeah, I really enjoyed it. The one thing I will say that I thought that did stick out to me was it was hard not to notice how much older Todd is. The actor who plays Todd.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just trying to like put it past me and use my imagination here, but it's supposed to be like right after the day after.
Between like the end of the actual show and El Camino, it's been like what, maybe 8 years, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so
it's been a long.
He's older and definitely put on some weight.
Yeah, which everyone does. That's it happens to the best of us, but it's just like it's they're playing characters. It's supposed to be in the same time frame as the older ones, so it's you have to kind of put yourself in that. You'd be like suspend your disbelief.
Suspension of disbelief.
Yeah. Exactly, man. But no, I loved it. I loved it going. I actually saw it in theaters when they put it out that limited run, and I loved just going back and visiting that world. And because I'm for some reason I haven't caught up with Better Call Saul for whatever reason. I don't know. Just never got into it. But yeah, that's definitely classic. I mean, some people say that's the best American television show of all time. Some would argue. Some would say The Sopranos, but we'll see.
Sopranos is all right. I like the ending to Breaking Bad a lot better than the ending to Sopranos. Okay. Well, you've seen the end of Sopranos.
Yeah, well, I know the ending. I haven't seen Sopranos, but I do know the ending. Yeah.
Yeah, it just cuts off.
Yeah, it doesn't even give you anything. It's like you decide.
No, what they said is one of the I think is the best there is you see a guy walk past him and go into the restroom, and then it just cuts to black because he just got whacked.
Oh, really? But the thing is that some people argue they don't show you it. So, like, technically, you could interpret it that you don't know if he dies or not.
Yeah, but the whole story is Tony Soprano. So as soon as Tony Soprano doesn't see anything anymore,
I like that. I like that. That's so cool.
Because he never sees it coming. Just like anyone in that position, like when you get whacked, you're done.
That's pretty cool, man. That honestly, as a fan of monster movies, it's a pretty cool way to look at it, man. I enjoy me a good monster movie. I don't know what it is, but I've always been into crime fiction. Like from a young age. I don't know. Maybe it's that Artemis Fowl thing again, but yeah, I've always been into that kind of stuff. Like I was just saying on another podcast, I was on another podcast on the Tsunami Squad on, I think it was Thursday, and I started talking about Ryogo Naruto's new manga. It's called Dead Mount Deathplay, and it's really interesting. You might actually like it, Scott. It starts off and it's like there's a huge epic battle in this fantasy world between a necromancer called the Corpse God and this legendary hero. And they have this epic battle, and then during the battle, one of them casts a resurrection spell, and the other one is sent is kind of essentially wakes up in the modern day, and so there's this group of assassins who discover him, and he's inside of the body of someone who's supposed to be a hit target essentially, and so it goes from there.
So which one is in the body?
Well, that's the thing. I don't want to spoil it.
Okay.
Because
So they're actually mixing like
you go ahead.
They're like Tolkien-esque fantasy with modern crime fiction.
Exactly, man.
that's amazing. I want to read that.
It's really good. Yeah, dude. He blends it perfectly.
What? So this is like a manga, or?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's called Dead Mount Deathblade.
Drop a link. Yeah, you need to drop the link in the chat or whatever. I want to read that.
Okay, yeah. Let me put it up here for you guys, because yeah, it's pretty dope. I know there's the digital that you can get of it as well, if you're more into digital comics. But they have 3 printed volumes out as well right now. Let's see here. I'll link to the first volume. But yeah, it's
really
good art too.
Stuff to order from Amazon to read.
There you go. Put that in there in the link. People can go check it out. So it's written again by Ryogo Narita. He wrote the Bakuno and Durarara light novels, and then he's teaming up with an artist who did the Bakuno manga to do this manga. And yeah, dude, it starts off good, man. It really is. It's freaking awesome.
That's $6. $6. That's pretty cheap.
Right? Yeah, not bad at all, man. Not bad. Is that what's your? Is that? Does it take you to your Spain Amazon, or is it the US that when you click it?
No, it takes me to Amazon.com, which I guess is the international. But still, I've ordered stuff from Amazon.com before, and yeah, it has arrived here like a couple of weeks after that. So yeah, I could try.
Pretty cool. You know, it's funny. I actually learned that trick. I wanted to buy a couple of Japanese books, and so I went on to Amazon.Japan or whatever, JP, and you can order them with your American account. I was like, what? Really? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the shipping costs are probably the problem there, but apart from that, yeah, no, you can pretty much order from anywhere in the world.
I'll be honest, the shipping for me was actually pretty cheap. It was a $5.99 for Amazon international shipping. So I was like, oh, man, this is cheap stuff here. Maybe it's just because it was a small book, just one little small book, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Pretty nice to do that,
So it looks like the first issue is only $3.
The first issue?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, where is it? What is it available on any? Is it Kindle? I think that's where I read it for the first time.
It's Kindle and Comixology.
Yeah, and the cool thing is if you want to read on Comixology and Kindle, it's I believe it's simulpubbed, so new chapters get put up there whenever they come out in Japan. Yeah, go check it out. Let me know what you think. I'll be curious if you guys like it, because I'm definitely digging it. Yeah, that's the other thing. The reason I brought up earlier was Ryogo Narita. He does really good crime fiction, because pretty much all and that's the reason why I read him. Bakuno is his 1920s mobster crime fiction, which I'm super inspired by, and then Durarara is kind of his modern day Japan Yakuza style kind of crime fiction with supernatural elements, and then this is his newest work.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, what about you guys? Any new manga you guys been picking up? I know you've been reading a lot on the Viz app, Scott.
Yeah, I'm still working through My Hero Academia Vigilantes.
Vigilantes. I love the way you say that word, man. I say it's so white.
I always say vigilantes. So go figure.
What's that?
We say vigilantes. So
oh, really? Oh, very nice. I love it even more. It's even more better. No, dude. I freaking love My Hero. Are you caught up, Scott, on the season, at least with the dub?
Oh, I'm way past that.
You're way past it up. So I'm on the dub, and I'm actually a little behind the dub. I'll be honest. I have a couple episodes on my DVR recorded. I need to watch. But dude, this season's been so good.
Where are you at?
I just and I'm not gonna spoil anything, but I just after the big fight, where they have to fight with the League of Villains. I mean, not the League of Villains, the Shiei Saikai. Sorry, the Yakuza. They go up against.
When they're taking down. Okay, yeah, when they're trying to rescue the girl.
Exactly, yeah. And dude, that freaking whole sequence in the last episode freaking blew me away, dude. It was amazing. It was just so good. Oh God, I could go on for days, dude. Go watch My Hero Academia, Canals, because I don't think you've seen it, right?
Yeah, no, and I'm not too big on anime. I haven't watched
Get into.
anime since
We're gonna strap you down and make you watch it, man.
Well, tell you what, if you buy me dinner first and then you kiss me, you can do whatever you want.
Here, I'll give you a deal, okay? No kiss, but I'll buy you dinner. How about that?
Okay, I think that's fair.
I'll Uber it over.
Still a good deal.
I'll Uber Eats it over to you, man, or DoorDash, whichever app you guys got. You guys got those apps over there in that country?
We do have Uber here.
But I mean specifically for food though, for like the food delivery and shit.
Do you guys like the Deliveroo? Is that a thing over there?
Was it?
It's called like Deliver, but with like 2 O's after Deliveroo.
We got similar stuff, but yeah, not that specific brand.
Well, that's what we got here, and yeah, of course, it's getting bigger since everything is closed down and you can just go to a restaurant anymore.
Dude, we got a bunch of them. Yeah. We got a bunch of them. Dude, we got Uber Eats, we got DoorDash, Postmates, Grubhub. Then you got Instacart.
Well, that's how you know you're in the first world,
right? You can order. You literally can get everything. You can get groceries on Instacart. You can get. You literally never have to leave your house for anything. It's
whereas here you have to eat what you kill with a
stone. Oh man, it's rewarding in its own way, you know.
Yeah, it builds character.
Exactly.
All right, I gotta bounce, guys.
Oh, no worries, man. Why don't you plug your stuff real quick before you head out?
Sure. So we're working on getting physical copies for Backers Proof for Wrath Chapter 1. If you haven't checked it out yet, you can get it for 99 cents on the Wikid store, along with 17 other titles now, because Wikid has been just cranking stuff out and putting it up there for our fine fans and readers.
That's awesome, man. That's hell awesome. Well, thank you, man. Thank you for joining us today. I hope you have a nice, fine Saturday. Enjoy your weekend.
Yeah. Well,
stay safe, man.
I have really long weekends now.
Yeah, I'm there now because I don't know if I mentioned it. Like, I think I told Canal, I should just have proof to work at home on Monday. But I've been working at the office all week, so I'm like, yes, finally. It's been like a long ass week. I get it, man. I'm ready for my long weekend.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, have a good one. We'll talk to you soon, man. Take care.
All right.
Yeah, bye, man.
Later. I'm gonna see if the Mythoverse guys are gonna come on here as we start wrapping up this first segment, man. But what do you got going on this weekend, Canals?
I may finally be able to take a couple of days off because I think I already finished. Yeah, man. I think I already finished fixing all the Zipaton thing that we had going on with Ironsides 2, the print files. I've also finally finished. Well, not really. I'm still doing tiny corrections, and I have a couple of covers to draw for SOS Volume 1. But yeah, the line art, the interior art is complete, and now only a couple of illustrations remain. And after that, I'll finally be able to begin working on Johnny's Law, which is this upcoming Ganfu graphic novel that I don't know how it's going to go because the world is ending in a global viral apocalypse. But yeah, we have like that plan for like maybe April, May, something like that.
Oh, okay. Well, interesting, man. Well, I'm definitely glad you're gonna be getting some time off, man. I know you deserve it, man. Honestly, it's been a long time coming for you.
Yeah, man. I have that problem by which I hate turning offers down. So whenever someone offers me, draw this thing for me, and I'm like, this sounds so awesome. I can just say no to that.
Right, and I'm sure I'll be hitting you up again sometime later down the year. But let's give you your days of rest first before we can put you to work again.
Yeah, no, you definitely need to take some time off, because otherwise, your art is going to suffer. You're gonna see that on your art.
Oh yeah, any medium really.
Yeah.
Even writers and any creative medium. Yeah, that is so true.
Yeah, because since you enjoy doing it, you think that you can keep it up forever. Like, oh, I really like doing this crap. I don't have to stop. Yes, you do. Just
it's
take
funny,
some breaks.
It's true.
Go ahead.
No, it's true. You're exactly right. Take some breaks, man. But it's funny you mention that because like for a while I was like listening to a lot of music and a lot of stuff that are saying like, oh, get no rest, just working all the time. I actually tried to do that for a little bit. I was like, man, they got the right idea here. Like, let me just stop sleeping and just start working here. And man, it was not a good. I was like, I can't do this, man. I got to go back to normal because it's affecting me, It's
that for example, that will work wonders for writer's block, because the more you obsess with trying to overcome the block and how to finish the story or how to push it further, the more you obsess about it, the worse it's going to be. So just unplug, do something else, for a while, maybe a couple of days, and then when you come back to the story, you will be freshened up. More options will appear before you. That's why it's necessary to just chill every now and then.
Yeah, no, that's very true, man. That's very true. That's good advice. I think all creators can take to heart. But I guess we're here at the end of our first segment here. We're going to invite the Mythoverse guys on. Do you want to stay for a while, or are you going to head on out for the day, Canals?
I think I'm going to try and take a typical Spanish siesta, if that's okay.
Well, you deserved it, man. So definitely. Just go sleep for forever, man, and sleep for a couple weeks.
Yeah,
and,
wake me up when
get your hibernation get done. Do you guys have a word for hibernation?
Yeah, I know we call that hibernar, and I think I think I should totally do that since I'm a big hairy mammal myself.
Hey, it fits perfect, man. It fits perfect, doesn't it? Well, before you go take your big Spanish nap, why don't you tell us where people can follow you online?
Of course, you can find me at Decimator's Art on Twitter, and I'm also on Instagram. I've begun slowly to put stuff there, just comments. So I went back to commenting on Instagram. So at some point I'll go back to like publishing actual stuff there. You can also follow me on Facebook or whatever. I'm also there, even though it's for aunties and for boomers.
Hey man, it's still people on there, man. You can find some people.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird, but yeah, the people still use Facebook. Who knew?
All right. Oh man. Well, all right, man. Well, I appreciate you jumping on with us, and I hope you're staying safe, staying healthy, and hopefully you're finding a way to still get some fights in, even though you're stuck at home. Maybe fighting yourself.
Oh yeah, no. I fight my dad all the time.
Oh, nice, very nice.
Mean old bastard. He wants to fight me all the time. So
I bet he gives it as good as he can take it, man. He sounds like he gives hell, man.
Dude, he's fast as a snake. He's in his mid-60s, and I can still see his punches coming.
Oh man, it's insane. That's awesome, man. You definitely take after him. That's for sure.
Yeah, I try. That's a good example,
We can all learn from that example, I think. All right, man. Well, thank you so much, and you enjoy your nap, and we will see you on the next episode, man. Take care.
Same, man. See ya.
Thank you, man. See you, man. And now we're joined by the Mythoverse crew, 2 of 3. Welcome, guys.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Definitely, man. I'm excited to have you guys on. It's good to chat and to see how you guys have been doing and what you guys have been up to.
A little of this, a little of that. The new normal has taken a little bit of getting used to.
Seriously.
As I often say, though, I'm one of the fortunate ones. My career was not disrupted in the least because I'm a software engineer, and I've been working remotely for a while anyway. So,
really?
Yeah, largely. So nothing has really changed, except that now I am home full time and have been since the 13th.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, definitely. So it sounds like things are going pretty well on your end then.
Yep.
Glad you're staying safe.
Yeah. The only challenge is that my wife recently underwent ankle surgery. That was why I stayed home on the 13th, and she's been recovering. And
that's tough, man.
It's still rough going.
I bet. Yeah.
So, and on top of that, we moved my mother-in-law in with us because she was alone down south, and she's immune compromised. So,
that's good that she's with you guys now, though.
Yeah, she's with us. But what that ends up being, since she isn't very well on the whole, I'm the only able-bodied adult in a family of 6. So I have a lot to keep up with.
Wow. Yeah, I feel you, man. You're probably under a lot of pressure right now.
Yeah.
A lot going on. So I definitely feel you, man.
Yeah. But like I said,
find a place to relax, Phil, when you get to.
Trying to. Situation could be worse. I'm still getting paid. I'm still
right. That's the blessing that I always think of too. I feel really lucky to. I just got a job literally like 2 weeks before everything went crazy.
Oh wow!
And it's considered essential because it's a bank.
Ah, so nice.
Yeah, and not only that, I just got approved to work remotely from home myself for Monday. So
fantastic.
Yeah, I feel a lot more relieved these days. I've been stressed out this week.
I don't blame you. Many of us have. A lot of my friends.
I'm sure everyone is too. Yeah, I know. So many people. Yeah, Cody got laid off. Did you hear?
Unfortunately, yes. I was very sad to hear that.
Yeah, I was too. Yeah. So I'm hoping the best for everybody going forward. Honestly.
Yeah. Hopefully, it won't last too much longer. I was a bit distressed when I heard that we're expecting the lockdown to continue into the end of this month, and I'm just concerned that a lot of folks that aren't able to work, this is just going to have a cascade effect. Because the less money people can spend, the less people can be employed. So,
yeah, true.
Yeah.
No, that's a very good point. But on to a more bright note, what have you guys been doing to pass? You guys having time to do fun stuff? Lately. Any books you're reading? Any shows you're watching? Anything like that?
Oh, sure, absolutely. I recently got caught up on Better Call Saul.
Nice, dude.
That is probably my favorite. Dude. It's my favorite show in years. I mean, that creative team that did Breaking Bad and El Camino and Better Call Saul, they really just need to make every show on television. They really do.
They're good, aren't they? I need to catch up on Better Call Saul. I for certain I never watched that one, but I love that universe. I love Breaking Bad, so I do need to catch up on that show.
Yeah, now's a good time too if you haven't caught up, because season 5 is where the metamorphosis into Saul is complete, and you're starting to see like everything get set up for his introduction.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I'll definitely. That sounds cool. Actually, yeah. I would love to watch that because I love Vince Gilligan. Honestly, he's such a good creator, dude.
Oh, the whole team. I mean,
yeah, really. So yeah, seriously, it's not just him as the creator. Yeah, the whole creative team is amazing.
Yeah. Not only is the writing brilliant, but the cinematography is the most creative I've ever seen.
Oh my god,
the way they stage scenes, and the way that, and they have the best actors. I mean, oh my god, it's just a wonderful show. Highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. So that's one show I've been watching, and we've also been watching Formula One Drive to Survive, which is like a reality show that follows Formula One racing.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and I knew very vaguely about the sport, but I didn't know all the political machinations that go on. And it's actually a very fascinating show. If you need something else to watch, it's on Netflix.
And now at least we're not in the UK.
Yeah, at least we're not in the UK.
Yeah, because they cut HD streaming in the UK, those bastards.
Well, it was either that or essential internet might not be accessible.
God, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah,
I'm glad that we have the infrastructure that can hold it.
Yeah, for the time being. If this goes on too much longer and everyone stays home streaming HD Netflix, we might end up in a situation where we may need to do the same thing.
Hey, man, it's hard not to resist. Everyone's stuck at home; they want to stream their HD Netflix.
I'm with you, especially with 2 kids that are very, very bored.
Oh God, yeah, I can't even imagine. Yeah, dude, what is it like having kids? Having them home all the time and stuff.
Well, here's the thing.
We what their ages are, though, depending. I don't know.
Well, my middle child just turned 9, and I have a toddler. A toddler who's 2, and my oldest is 16. So he takes care of himself. But the toddler is very, very restless right now. Mm-hmm. Like if we don't keep him occupied, he'll go on a tear. He'll start disassembling the house. So when we need to get something done and we can't have him attached to us, being able to stream like whatever he wants the moment he wants it has been a lifesaver. So
yeah, no, I can imagine. That's funny, man. Wow. And how about you, Dan? How have you been holding up?
I mean, Brett, I've been talking this whole time.
I mean, sorry, Brett. Yeah, sorry. I looked at. I meant to say Brett, but I looked at your icon, and so I said Dan instead. Sorry, yeah, Brett.
Wondering how I'm not in. I'm still wondering how I'm not infected at this point.
Are you still working, man?
Yeah,
like out in the out and stuff.
Because I'm apparently the most essential of essential. I work in a grocery store.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's a good point, man.
Well, they absolutely are. I mean, that's where everyone's getting their food. You don't think the people grow their own food, right?
Yeah, well, it's tough, man.
They were swarming the store yesterday, and now they're talking about capping how many people are going to be allowed inside at a single time.
Wow, dude. Oh, yeah, man. I could see how that would be stressful for you, man. I hope you're doing okay, man.
Well, at least your income hasn't been disrupted. But on the other hand, you're in a public place dealing with lots of people, and you have no idea what their status is. And that's got to be nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I would imagine. That's how I've been. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I just do my best not to think about it.
Yeah. I guess
Do you want my wife to make you a mask?
I wouldn't say no.
I'd be happy to. She's actually once she put out on this Facebook group that she's making masks, she got like almost 24 requests. So she's gonna be making them this weekend. So if you want one, dude, I can probably ask her if she can make an extra one for you if you're concerned about it. Yeah.
I would. They're gonna. I hear that the company's gonna be sending us masks and gloves to use like around next week, I think. But hey, why not?
All right. Well, if you're due to get one, then great. If you weren't, then I was going to say I'd be happy to send one your way.
Or if you want to go ahead,
Yeah. So, well, I'm sorry to hear that, man. I hope things turn around, or if maybe some other solutions or opportunities come available to you that you could take advantage of. You know.
I'm not holding my. I'm not holding my breath at this point.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. I'm just
gonna have to go in and just hope for the best, and it's just.
Well, just try and practice all the good things that you're supposed to do, and you keep your social distancing. Make sure you're trying to stay at least 6 feet away from people.
Practice social distancing inside of a grocery store.
Hey, dude, you can tell.
That's funny.
The new thing is, they're saying is to say, it's a little silly, so probably don't say exactly, but they say, you say back up, Jack. So you actually tell people like, hey, you need to be social distancing. Back away, please. Like I know it feels awkward and weird, but I had to tell myself, like, I know I feel stupid right now. This is my health that I need to be concerned about, so I don't care if I feel stupid. I'm gonna say what I need to say. And I'm gonna do what I need to do to be safe. So I started avoiding people. I've stopped taking elevators with people. I treat everyone like they have the plague, essentially.
Lovely. Well, I went shopping this morning, and every cashier is behind plexiglass. Every credit card machine has a sign that says "Use the stylus, and we'll sanitize it after you're done. Don't touch it with your hands." Everyone is basically full on board with this, and
yeah, it definitely seems to be coming like that. I think that's helping, honestly.
Yep.
So just keep it up. Everyone needs to just keep it up. That's the real main last message I want to put out there. Just I think we're all, stay inside, just stay safe with whomever you're with, and we'll try and get through this all together here. We'll be here bringing you new comics. We'll keep trying to print new stuff for you guys, and hopefully keep our spirits up, keep everyone's spirits up together.
That sounds great. I'm just waiting for someone stupid to come around and break the rules out of spite and make things worse for everybody else.
You mean like that asshole that licked all those essential items and filmed himself doing it?
Ugh.
Yeah, like that.
The bad apples, man. They stick out,
No, dude, seriously, no. There's nothing more dangerous to your own freedom than some fucktard who wants to break the rules out of spite.
Yeah, you gotta hate that, You gotta hate that. Yeah. But don't fuck with food too. Like, come on now.
Yeah, I was telling Matt and Brett, it's like our civilization died to a like button. Like people want likes, so they do ridiculous crap like this.
True, dude. People do dumb stuff. People do a lot of ridiculous and dumb things.
It was gross even when there wasn't a play going around.
Right? Yeah, dude. That ain't cool ever. How is that ever cool?
Yeah, I don't.
It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, they posted it. They filmed themselves, posted on social media, and then people are like, "Oh my god, did he actually do that?"
Yeah, and the guy got charged for it, but the damage is done already. Like, who knows how many people touched what he licked?
Yeah, dude. Well, and they had to throw away a lot of that shit, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm just glad he got arrested.
Some other lady in this vagrant, she coughed on a bunch of food, and they had to throw like $20,000 worth of shit out. And I think she got arrested, but it was like they just had to throw everything she was near out.
Yeah,
it was like they said it was like so expensive.
It's
yeah, dude, ridiculous.
On a brighter note, like we've been hearing this news all day for like weeks.
It's hard not to go back to. I know we keep trying to switch away from it. It does dominate a lot of the thoughts these days. So, but yeah, switching over to something like you said, a little nicer.
Yeah. So TV shows. Yeah. So check out F1 Drive to Survive. It's a fascinating show. I followed the sport very, very peripherally, but I didn't know, like, for example, each car costs between $10 and $30 million.
Woo.
Yeah, they're and they're fragile and
they're light, aren't they?
Yeah, they're very, very light, and that you literally are driving a guided missile.
Wow.
And look at it this way: most Formula One cars can go from 0 to 60 in 2.7 seconds. Some as little as 2.1.
Wow.
So you literally are like being launched out of a rocket. And those drivers have to be in Olympic level shape to be able to effectively drive. Like you say, oh, why are they paid so much? They're just driving a car. No, they're not. You cannot do what they do. Trust me.
Right? Because it looks easy on TV. They think, oh, anyone could do that. But no, it's much more intense than you think.
When you're slowing from 220 miles an hour down to do a hairpin turn, and there's so much that goes into being able to control those machines and not kill yourself.
It's funny because I would love to see someone who would say like, "Oh, it just looks so easy on TV," and then they actually get to ride in a passenger like as a professional driver. They would like be throwing up. They would just be so like, "Oh my god, no!"
It's like that scene in Ford versus Ferrari.
Oh yeah,
takes a Henry Ford II for a drive and says,
"Oh yeah."
That was such a great scene. I loved it.
Yeah, he takes the owner of the company who's like this big old fuddy-duddy kind of guy. And he's like, he drives him in one of his own cars, and he's like freaking out.
Yeah, like he's basically saying like this car is a monster, and you need the right driver to control it. And that man is Ken Burns. So
and after he did that, he was like, "Yep, that's the guy."
Great movie. So that's a show. That's a really good show to check out. So if you haven't put that on your list, another fun show that I've liked is The Repair Shop. Have you heard of The Repair Shop?
No, I actually haven't.
Okay, it's one of the many reality shows that are available, but this one I like because the shtick of it is it's a little cottage in the English countryside, and it's filled with like 6 or 7 different artisan specialists. And what they do is people bring in antiques or heirlooms that are 140 years old.
Oh, wow.
and they restore them. And it's fascinating because each one of these pieces that get brought in, like a little music box that survived the Blitz and was severely damaged and doesn't function anymore, they were able to restore it. And hearing all the family history and seeing everything being rebuilt and all the skill and craftsmanship that goes into it is astounding. Like 4 or 5 people with different like skills they developed over 20 years or more were needed to restore this music box, but it came out beautiful. And then I think,
that's awesome, man.
My God, they were very bright for being able to repair this thing. But can you imagine what it must have taken to design this thing? Because like this level of craftsmanship is like the skill has been lost for the most part, and it's really fascinating to see.
There's a channel on YouTube I watch called Odd Tinkering that does stuff like that. Like I've seen the guy restore like a beaten up Tonka truck to almost to looking like it's factory new again.
That's that's kind of what they do. Like there's this one toy that was like a German toy from like 1912 1913, and it was a literal miniaturized steam engine powered steamroller. And it had everything that a full-sized locomotive would have in it, just scaled down. And he was able to make it run again. And you actually put like little hard fuel under it and burned it and boiled water, and it got at the steam. And it was a perfect scale model of a locomotive. It was so fascinating. Like really if anyone didn't even know how to start building that, that's what I love about it.
No, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Really so you watch a lot of like documentaries and stuff?
Yeah, I have to, because you can sort of ignore those and come back to them. If you want to watch like scripted television, you need to pay attention. And I usually don't have time to sit and pay attention to a TV show.
Really? Oh, with kids and whatnot, I guess. And,
everything else going on. I watch a lot of kids shows. Like I know everything about. I can recite Mickey Mouse Clubhouse the first 3 seasons.
I was gonna say you probably watch a lot of animated shows these days, don't you?
Yes.
You know what's funny? I was listening to podcasts, and he was saying like he has kids now, and ever since having kids, he finds cartoons like really comforting. Like you can just put on a cartoon and kind of like it's kind of relaxing. Do you feel that way at all?
Yeah, I can definitely see that. It does. Having kids does rewire your brain. It really does.
That's funny.
I can't even explain it, because before I had kids, I was like, what's the big deal, you know? And then when you do, it literally does rewire you, and all of a sudden you see things differently, and it's hard to think the way you back. Yeah. It's like the old me was broken when I had kids.
Wow. That's really funny, man.
Yeah, but I agree with him. They are comforting up to a point. But you do need to like have some quiet every now and then. But
right. But that's
I've been watching a lot.
What's up, Brett?
I've been watching a lot of Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Nice old school one.
You watching mostly the Joel episodes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
not the Jonah episodes. Fair enough.
I love the Joel episodes.
They're good, man. He's so good.
Yeah, I think I tell the story a lot, but I discovered that show by accident. I believe it was either late 80s, very early 90s. And we were just flipping through the channels, and we were bored, and we landed on this old cheesy film, and we did not notice the silhouettes at first because they were pretty faint. And so we're watching this terrible movie, and then we just start hearing these voices out of nowhere that make us laugh. It's like, who's saying that? You know, and that was when we noticed that there's some silhouettes along the bottom, and I said, "Is that E.T. over there? And is that a gremlin? Like, what is this?" And it was we just sat and watched it until they went to break, where they left the theater, and we saw who everyone was. Like, oh, it's like a puppet show, and they watch movies. That's pretty funny. And,
I don't know. I mean, like, much. I don't dislike the Mike episodes, but I don't know. I just like Joel better.
What do you think about Jonah?
I actually haven't watched.
I don't hate Jonah, but the problem with that whole show is just that. I'm gonna be real. Felt like watching the Netflix show felt like something was missing.
Huh. Interesting.
There was a certain kind of magic you had with the. There was a certain kind of magic you had with the old show, and the Netflix series just didn't have it.
Maybe it felt too polished. Maybe.
No, it's hard to put your finger on it. It's hard to put. It's something. It's like
quality that's not there.
There's some. It's one of those intangibles. Like you can't.
Maybe it was the dynamic or a couple different things. Who knows what it is? But it could be
it wasn't that anything necessarily was bad about it. It's just more like it's like because it wasn't a bad show. It's just like, but it just felt like something was missing.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Dan, you said you never seen the Jonah episodes?
Well, I haven't sat down and watched them. I mean, I have watched a little bit of one or two of them, but I haven't really sat down and watched all of them. And
that's actually where I'll be honest, I'm the opposite. That's actually where I got introduced to the show, with the Jonah episodes.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's awesome. Now I'm going back to watch the old ones and stuff, so it's kind of funny.
Yeah, I think to Brett's point, I think I agree with him. There was definitely something missing, and I think if you were to ask me to be perfectly honest, it was that the old show was what it was because they had no money and they had no idea what they were doing. They were like the early episodes were so bad.
Oh yeah, they don't. Oh yeah, like they don't. They actually asked Comedy Central not to air any of the episodes from the first season, and I'm talking like this was back when they were on a local cable channel in I think Wisconsin, or was it Minnesota? Yeah, it was because it wasn't just cheap; it was embarrassingly cheap, and they kind of described season 1 more as a learning process for them than anything.
Exactly.
Makes sense, honestly.
I bought this book where they talk about all their early years, and they said one of the most common questions they get from fans is, please release the early episodes. And they said, no, they're terrible. We will never do that. And they said, well, actually, the fact is we don't have the legal right to release them. That's it. Yeah. So they basically dodged the question every time. So the thing about those shows is that these were guys that didn't know what they were doing, and they were making the most out of what they had. And they had these public domain, like freely available movies, and they just said, hey, we'll make a show around this. And the new show is basically trying to recreate that spontaneity, and it's just not there. You know, it's like by the time the new show came around, the premise had already been established. We know the formula, and they're just sort of recreating it. You know,
it felt like it's like watching a tribute band.
Yeah, it's a cover band. There you go. That's a good way to do it. To think about it. But, you know, this is just my personal preference. If you love the new show, please enjoy it. And if it helps you discover the old show, that makes me happy too. But just for me personally, it was just not for me.
And actually, that analogy actually makes a lot of sense, because when you think about it, like a lot of the people who worked on it were fans of the old show.
Yeah, yeah. And they're trying to recreate moments or aspects of the show that happened by accident. You know, it's like when an old blues guy is jamming out on his front porch and he accidentally plays some cool lick, and then some like bright-eyed bushy-tailed guy walks up and says, "Oh, that was awesome. Let me write the tab down for that and recreate that perfectly." And the guy is saying, "It was an accident. I didn't know what I was doing."
Is that the 2-year-old in the background?
Yes, it is the 2-year-old in the background. He's just running around screaming his head off. He's not in pain. He's just.
I didn't think he was. I figured he was just running around because why not?
Yeah, because
he's a little kid. That's what they do.
Yeah. I was really lucky enough to get to go see one of Joel's last live shows that he did this year.
Nice.
Really?
It was so good. Yeah, I love the MST3 live shows. I've gone to a number of them before, and they're just. I did seen some with Jonah. I've seen a couple with Joel, and so this was his last live tour that he was doing, and man, it is just so fun to be able to see him riff live and stuff. And
they got a Twitch channel where they stream episodes 24/7.
Jeez, dude, that's awesome. I gotta go check that out. My thing is, I love the Turkey Day marathon. You know, that's always a staple for me.
I actually can still recite the song.
Nice.
We gather together to watch cheesy movies, etc. I won't torture you. Yeah, that was a tradition too. But.
Mine is the Sandy Frank song. Sandy Frank, he's the source of all our pain. Sandy Frank.
Yeah, and then the new show they tried to since you haven't seen it, in the new show, Dan, they do try to play up a lot of stuff. Like I think Frank's son is in it. And
he's played by Patton Oswalt.
Yeah.
And then you got Forrester's daughter's played by, I can't remember her name.
The girl from the
she was in Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog. I don't remember her name.
Oh gosh darn it! She was on The League, right?
the Guild or whatever.
The Guild, sorry. The Guild, yeah, sorry. What's her name?
I can picture her, but I can't.
Someone give us a name. I need a name.
Felicia Day.
Felicia Day. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's got Felicia Day. And then they've also got who? Oh, they had a couple more characters I think down throughout the thing, but yeah. So they kind of do play off certain things like that.
That's awesome, and I'm sure the show is hilarious, and I probably enjoy it.
Watch. Unfortunately, got canceled.
Yeah.
But the movie, of course, obviously and then there's new movies to watch, new movies that to riff on and stuff. So that's always good.
Yeah, and when you think about it, that was an astounding accomplishment. The fact that it maintained an audience. It was a 2-hour long show, and there were somewhere in the vicinity of 600 jokes per episode. That's staggering. And they didn't always land, but the ones that landed you remember for like the rest of your life. Do you remember, was it Gamera, where there's a little turtle named Tippy in it, and Tom Servo takes a liking to Tippy, and they start making turtle soup jokes, and he's like, stop it, no. And then he in the intermission he sings like a love song to Tippy. And there's like a turtle on a turntable, and he's like, Tibby, oh Tibby, my heart is a mess. And he's got this really good classic opera voice. And then there's, of course, there's the episode where they try to make the skits in the middle of the in the breaks have some tie into the film. But there was one film, I can't remember which one it was, that they had no idea what to do, so they just started doing waffle skits. And the waffle skits just kept escalating to the point where they're all dressed up in waffles at the end and singing an ode to waffles. Waffles, we love you.
Where do I get that? Now that Teen Titans Waffle episode is coming into perspective.
Yeah, it was such a great show, and I had a lot of really
one clip I found. It's from. Unfortunately, this is from their Godzilla vs. Megalon episode, which Toho forced them to remove. But they had this one skit where they had Crow and Tom Servo dressed up as Orville Redenbacher and his grandson, and they were making fun of these commercials that they were doing.
Oh, yes. Or like he slowly goes mad, like, I'm the god, I'm the god.
No, that's Frank. That was Frank. No, what happens is that Tom Servo gets angry at Crow. And he's like, "Where's my dad? Where's my dad?" And Crow's like, "He's in the poorhouse where I shoved him when I didn't need him, or just like I'll do to you." And then Tom's like, "I hate you."
Wow.
Another funny one is when Mike, back when he was right before he took over the show, Mike Nelson, he would frequently play background characters that more or less served to get killed off by Forrester and Frank. But there was one that was kind of a recurring character, and it was his impersonation of Jack Perkins, who was at the time, I think, the president of A&E.
Yes, they did that whole Mystery Science Theater Hour spinoff where he was the host.
Yeah,
that was hilarious.
Yeah, there was like one episode where he comes in and he says, "Hi, Linda LRB. Isn't it great that I'm making 6 figures from my cushy cable job while you're off peddling Maxwell coffee?" And then Forrester pulls out a cattle prod and zaps him in the neck.
It sounds like you guys could do a whole podcast on this subject.
Yeah, their invention exchanges were some of my favorites.
Yeah, the dimension exchanges are pretty cool. Those are always fun.
Hercules and the Moon Men, there was Freak Out, and it actually made Frank freak out.
Do you guys have any like classic episodes that you could recommend I watch? Like something like the top,
Well, you need to watch Manos: The Hands of Fate. That's a given.
What's it called?
Oh God, Manos: Hands of Fate is great because it was so bad that Frank and Forrester periodically. We popped in to apologize to Joel and the bots for making them watch it. Frank actually said, "I'm sorry." Like Frank actually said, "Look, I'm sorry. We went way too far this time."
Oh no.
Some really classic bits are on the giant Gila monster. That's a good one.
Nice.
I like Hercules against the Moon Men.
Yeah. Hercules against the Moon Men. I'm gonna look that one up too.
And then of course there's there's cave dwellers. The day the Earth froze.
Robot Monster.
Oh my god, so many good ones, dude.
Yeah.
A lot of them are on Amazon too that you can rent to just watch on digital, if you want to watch a specific episode and not trying to just, you obviously have the free Twitch stream, but if you want to watch a specific one, you can go rent it as well. But what have you guys been up to creatively speaking? Like, have you guys had much time down for like creative stuff?
Oh yeah, we've been still working on comics in the background, obviously.
Nice.
Yeah, man. Victor's been churning out pages.
Oh wow!
Bad. How many has he got done so far, Brett? You showed me like a whole list of them.
9. He's up to 9 right now.
Dude, that's awesome.
9 pages, and he's doing this unprompted. Like Brett all of a sudden got all these pages, and like, whoa, okay, awesome. So yeah, and Leandro is working on a 2-page spread right now. He's got 6 pages done, and he's doing page 7 and 8, which interestingly enough, I did not script as a 2-page spread. He did that on his own, and I preferred it so much to how I had it before that I said, hey, you know what? This 2-page spread starts on an odd number, so that won't work. So what I'm going to do is put like an extra page at the beginning and allow this 2-page spread to remain because I want it. And he said, oh, no, I'm so sorry. I didn't even realize. And I said, no, we're keeping the 2-page spread. I'll make it work. You just draw it. You just draw it. I'll make it fit. Because it really does add a lot to the scene to show the scale and scope of the action. So
I've got a 2-page spread for Victor that he's probably going to want to kill me for because it is going to involve him having to do another crowd scene.
Yeah, Leandro's been roasting me for the scenes I'm having him do right now because they involve, like, if you've ever seen, I'm sure you have. If you've seen Matrix Reloaded, the Burly Brawl scene where he's fighting 500 Siths, I wanted a scene that had that kind of a feel to it, where Adobe is being swarmed by a crowd of mooks.
Nice, that'd be awesome.
And yeah, he's done a really good job on it, but he was kind of goofing on me for saying, like, first he has me draw buildings, and now I have to draw crowds of soldiers.
You put him through the ringer, man. That's for sure.
But he's doing an amazing job, and I could not be more thankful for someone with such a strong work ethic and so professional and good at what he does.
And obviously,
I don't deserve someone as dedicated as Victor. It's like,
you do too.
Yeah. He hands in me 2 pages that I did not even ask him to do yet, and he's just,
well,
damn, dude.
He's thinking long term. He knows the first book's out, and the second one's got to be out too. So he's working on it. He wants to continue working on the book with you.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, Ginger should be. Ginger's working on some stuff for the book for issue 2 that he's going to need for references. Just because, like, I mean, Victor's great, but even he will admit this. He's not good at making stuff out of thin air. He has to be kind of, if he doesn't already know what it is, he needs a reference for it.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's honestly really fair.
And like I said, that he's actually told me that.
I like it, dude. I feel my script's full of reference images. I love doing that.
Yeah. So, but luckily, Ginger's good at coming up with stuff out of thin air. So she's able to cover for that, and so she handles a lot of the concept art for some of the more fantastical stuff.
Okay, very interesting. Yeah, you guys have a good team there.
You never know what your artist is going to need a reference for. Like, I didn't even take into account that Leandro, being in the Philippines, might not know what a garden hoe is.
Really? They don't have garden hose?
No, he did not know what a garden hoe was.
Damn, that's wild. Yeah, who would have thought, right?
Yeah, so when I said she's holding a garden hoe, he's like, "What's that?" And he had
from a medieval weapon. What is this thing?
Yeah, so you had to look that up. But yeah, you can't. It's hard to take things for granted. Easy to take things for granted, I should say.
Yeah, it really is. You're so right, man.
Yeah,
man. But what was Matt's not here obviously, but even it seems like Matt's coming with new pages because I just saw a new Mythics page.
Yeah, he's got first 6 pages. Well, I don't know if they're in order, but they are 6 pages that are complete and colored and ready to be lettered.
Looking good, man.
Yeah.
They're like I would say even
like a whole glut.
What's that?
I said Beth handed him like a whole glut of them.
Dude, I would say even the art looks even better than the first issue. Like it's looking really good.
Yeah,
like, they look amazing in the first one, but like she's like stepping it up to the next notch now on this one. I think
I think Matt said that Beth is always constantly trying to improve over art.
That's awesome, and yeah, I can really tell.
And a lot of the look of the book is all on Beth because Matt doesn't really tell her how to design things. Like she basically designed Althea. He gave her a description,
a brief description, yeah,
right. But yeah, her look is all Beth.
So cool. Yeah, she really does. I was actually looking at that page of them walking on the beach there, and I was like, man, she actually really does have a very iconic look about her character design. So yeah, you can really, and not only that, but she's really good at drawing. Something I always get drawn to. She's really good at drawing clothing. Her style with different styles of clothing. I can tell she's very good with that, and I like those kind of details. Some people leave them out; it's fine, but I don't know, it just adds a little bit of realism to the world,
Yeah, like Morella's transparent jacket.
Like that was really skilled. Like the white line work on there was like, wow, that's some really nice line work.
And not only did she render it very well, but just the concept is very creative. Like I would not have thought to give her a transparent plastic jacket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and to even think you could pull it off in a comic medium, that's really talented. So I definitely really like that kind of stuff.
So I'm really happy with all of the artists we're working with.
Oh yeah, you guys all have amazing artists.
Yeah,
from Adobe to Changeling and to Mythics, all three. I just can't wait to see what you guys do next. Now that the books are out in the wild.
Yeah, speaking of which,
and I'm so happy. I have to admit, as you said, speaking of which, I am so happy to see so many happy people out there with their books, and that we package them up and getting so much praise for how we packaged them. It really means a lot to hear that.
Yeah, the only issues we had was when they were left out in the rain, which you have no control over.
If you, by the way, please do, if you want to you can put a message, but reach out to them and let them know we're more than happy to replace anything that gets damaged.
So. Yep. So far, there's only been an issue with 2 posters, and they're perfectly happy.
Really? Are you sure?
Without it? Yeah.
Okay. I would be fine if they want it. So just let me know.
Yeah, I have their information, and I'll forward that to you. So we have about let me see, 15 customer photos so far, and more coming in all the time. So awesome. What this shows is that the people that have backed our books are really enthusiastic about them, and they're happy. They're happy to receive them, and they're excited for more. So, even given this current situation, what it is, the fact that we are now offering our books for 99 cents on the Wikid store, I think this will really bodes well for the future of the Mythoverse and everyone else affiliated with Wikid right now. We show that we have a good product. It's readily available. You can check it out for a very reasonable price. And there's going to be more to come from all of us. So as we move forward into production of our next books through crowdfunding, Patreon, whatever, I think we built up a lot of goodwill here, and that'll bode well for the future of our brands.
Definitely.
So this is why I'm so thrilled. Not only do I just like seeing our books in everyone's hands, but the fact that there are so many of them, like volunteering to show us that they've received the books and that they're happy with them, it bodes very well.
Yeah, no, and it's exciting to see as well. On top of that,
yes.
It's just awesome, man. And we learned through the Jack Irons campaign, some of the techniques we used to package it up. Going back to the packaging again, I guess we're just again, but I think that really helps, honestly, when we ship them out, because I was worried about those posters getting damaged, because they were really nice posters, and for the most part they looked like they did pretty well. And the trading cards got out there and everything. Did you guys happen to have a chance to see how we packaged them up?
I did not, but I had one of my coworkers receive the complete package, and I asked him to send me pictures, and he said he would do that.
Oh, okay, so you'll probably see some soon then, yeah.
Yeah, he actually sent me a picture of his wife reading one of our books.
Oh, nice.
And I was hesitant to share it because you can see some of her face, and I didn't want to do it without her permission.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah,
but it was really cool to see someone reading it and enjoying it.
I know that's great, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's onward to the next, onward and forward.
Yes, we're moving forward. On the Patreon, we've been up for a couple months now, and we've been very steadily growing. Obviously, now that the word is getting out, and now that our books are out, I think we'll see an upswing in enthusiasm for that, and also our upcoming Kickstarter campaign, which we plan to launch on the 25th. Barring any unforeseen difficulties of this month, and that's because that was the day we launched the first campaign,
the original.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Have you guys announced any the specific details about the campaign yet?
No, this is Matt's Mythics campaign. I think he's worked out most of the details. As far as
goal yet announced?
Well, I worked out the numbers, what he'll need to pay at least for the production of the book, and to allow for fulfillment. But we've also been discussing maybe fulfilling it as a digital only, and then once the campaign is complete, we can go to an on-demand model where if you want the print copy, you can get it. We're still working those details out, but we're trying to adjust to the current paradigm where most everything is shifting more towards digital first, and then print as needed.
I would definitely say most indie creators and going forward would be wise to start prioritizing digital, just because, well, for one, there's a lot more ease of access, there's more availability, and it takes a lot of the overhead out. And of course, now that Diamond basically got kneecapped by the pandemic, it's like there's not going to be the traditional print distribution model is going to be like, I am not gonna count print and comics being out completely. They're never really going to go away, I think, but I think that side of that arm of the industry is going to be going through some major changes. And if you put all your eggs in, and if you were really sort of betting the farm on print, you are going to be hurting for a long time. So I would just say, just prioritize, just start prioritizing digital, but keep print available as an option for people who want it.
Available as an option for the mailing. Of course, people I still get orders through the mail, and conventions and stores presumably will eventually open. So eventually, but I do think that, like you said, digital is a big thing right now. Like, we've gotten more digital orders in the last 2 weeks than we've ever gotten before. So yeah, I think people are really clamoring for something they can get, like you said, ease of access, get right to it,
Especially now, because people just need stuff to read. They're
exactly.
bored.
They don't want to have to wait for it to ship out, and get to them. They want to be able to have it now.
You can just download a PDF and boom, you've got it. And not just that, I think we load the digitals up with content that you're not going to get in the print version.
Yeah, and you can put as much of that in there as you want.
Right? You're not limited to page count with that stuff. So that is true.
Yeah, we can put an extra 50 pages of digital if we feel like it, and say, hey, here's a bonus story, because why not? Here, and we don't have to worry about we don't have to set it up for print. We don't have to, go through all that process. And it's just we can just update the link. Here's some extra stuff if you want it there. Bam.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that as Brett said, the direct market with one central distributor is definitely on live support right now. I know that Alterna Comics is trying to do the direct to each vendor thing through its direct relationship program, whatever he happens to call it. And I think Diamond made it easy where there's only one place you order from, but that also was a huge point of failure. It's like the weak spot in the Death Star. Once that goes, it's all gone. It's one tiny little weak spot. And as you can see, it only took a couple of weeks for everything to start collapsing.
It's unfortunate there's no plan in place by Diamond for anything.
Yeah, exactly. So people didn't really have a contingency plan in place. They were just like, everything will be fine. We'll just keep going. And as we find, it's not really the case. It's not okay. And a lot of artists are suddenly having to stop work because the distributor can't pay their publisher can't pay them, and obviously the shops can't pay a distributor with no new product coming in. So yeah, it's just a house of cards. Unfortunately, just got upended. So yeah, we are focusing more on direct interaction with the customers, print on demand, digital first, that sort of thing. And that's what I think we're going to focus on for Matt's campaign, is sort of like a test bed.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. And backers can, have access to the prints if they want them, but we're focusing on getting them their digitals first. And interestingly enough, that's how we ran our first campaign. Our original one was everyone got their digitals as soon as they were available. And so this isn't really going to change much for us. This is kind of how we were approaching it to begin with.
Interesting. All right. Well, that's interesting, man. I'm very excited to see your new guys' campaign launch for the new Mythics chapter. As I said, we've been seeing some new art for it.
Yep.
It's going to be like a real exciting one. I loved a review. Someone put out a real good review. I can't quite remember who said it, but they said they read all three of the comics and they said, Adobe is the action, Changeling has great dialogue and characters, and Mythics was kind of like this mystery that was a little bit, I think it was the mythology, great use of mythology.
Yep.
And I was like, those are really great ways to look at it.
Yes. And he's 1,000% right. That is exactly what we were attempting to do. We wanted to provide a nice variety of A, genres, and B, storytelling approaches. Whereas Changeling is all about a girl's journey of discovery. So it makes perfect sense that it would have more character-driven moments in the first issue. And Mythics is all about essentially a mystical super sleuth who's uncovering a conspiracy. And so that's very appropriate for that. And what I wanted issue one of Adobe Kroger to be like was the opening scene of an action film where you meet all the characters through the action, and any world building occurs as a result of the action. Like, for example, we learned that incantations are important to paladins because we learned that Adobe has a stutter, and that makes it difficult for her to use her powers. Got it. Okay, so they need to use incantations. And without their incantations, they don't have their power. We learned that, hey, there are non-humans in this world through the action. We learned that she has all these superpowers as a result of holy faith through her action. And that's how I intend to do the world building in Adobe Kroger. Would that be appropriate for Changeling? Not necessarily. Would that be appropriate for Mythics? Not really. And the approaches wouldn't necessarily work for any other book but the one that they're currently in. So,
well, I think that's what's so great is they each have such a strong identity within the Mythoverse that people can gravitate the styles they like. Like some people want only this title, some people want a handful, some of them want all three. So it's exactly. Like you kind of get to choose your level of involvement and how deep you want to go in the Mythoverse.
Precisely. And
that's awesome.
That's what we've said from the start. We have a little something for everyone. And thanks to Changeling, we have something for the younger readers as well. And as you've seen, obviously, Brett's book has connected very strongly with my younger person, so much so that she wrote a fan comic. And by the way, that was completely unprompted.
You guys should include that in the back of one of the digitals or something.
I believe that. I believe you.
Yeah, you should totally include that in as a bonus the digital, man.
Yeah,
that'd be so fun.
She would be thrilled by that. So
I'm sure she would, and I know people would be happy to see that as well.
Yeah, why don't we include that in issue 2 Digital Changeling?
Yeah. Right, that would be fun. I think.
I think I gave you that. I think I actually brought up that idea with you, man.
Yeah,
right. Like you're saying with digital, it gives you that special opportunity where you can put things you might not be able to do in the print version.
Yeah,
so it's kind of fun.
Exactly.
And I gotta say, I want to ask because I know you guys can't talk much about this right now, so feel free to keep it light. But is there anything you can tease us about Phase 2 of the Mythoverse?
Oh, Phase 2?
Any teasers? Any little teasies?
We have a lot of things. We have a lot of things. In fact, Matt proposed this fantastic idea that will help to flesh out the ideas that will make up Phase 2. I don't want to say too much because it's still very
exactly
in nascent phases, but it will be a Patreon feature. and we're going to incorporate all of the other creators that are building properties for Phase 2 that will help prepare the readers for Phase 2.
I'm so excited.
Me too, man. And
because you guys in the viewing listening audience might not know much about what's going on, but obviously I'm with Wikid Publishing, so I see a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. And man, I can tell you just some of the stuff they've got cooking up. I just cannot wait for people to see.
Me either. We have such a large group of very enthusiastic and very strong creative minds putting together these projects. Some of them are not only writing, but they're also drawing. And I'm very excited and humbled to be able to work with all of them and to see everything as it gets fleshed out. And Matt's idea will probably be the best way to prepare yourself for Phase 2. If it all works out, we'll have it up as a Patreon feature within the next
month. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
In the next month or so. Oh, very cool. So it'll be something that we can be able to see soon. That feature that'll help push that method forward, essentially.
Yeah, possibly. Don't hold me to that, but okay. It all depends on
if all things go smoothly. Let's say
if all things go smoothly next month or two. We'll see. We'll see.
Definitely, everything's in flux, so it's all got to play it day by day and play by ear, essentially.
Yeah, these are uncertain times. This new normal is definitely getting some getting used to. But the idea is solid, and I gave my blessing to Matt, and he's already brought it up to everyone in our creator club, so to speak. And we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. A lot of good stuff coming out of Wikid right now.
Yes.
So we still, like I said, we're still putting stuff out and pushing comics. And I know Matt's working on Project R Chapter 3, and so yeah, we all got projects that we're still trying to put out there.
Yeah, and as soon as they're done, you can put them on the digital store, which is awesome.
Right, I was just thinking maybe putting them Wikid Magazine issue number 2 out on the digital store first.
That'd be cool. Mm-hmm.
This first issue's up there right now with the comics.
Mm-hmm.
And but yeah, I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. But yeah, print comics. Just we're still gonna try and forge forward. We may face some new challenges and stuff, but we're trying to overcome them where we can. And because we gotta we still want to keep getting those print comics out. That's still our thing, even if we can't necessarily go anywhere to sell them except for online yet. At the moment, that's we don't want to let that stop us. So.
Yeah, I think at this point, people will just want some new stuff to read, and we're definitely providing them that.
Exactly, man. We're here to do that. That's what we're here to do, and we'll keep doing it as long as we can.
So when the time comes, so if things somehow settle into a new normal from this new normal, we'll have a whole bunch of content we have to offer, and we'll be able to provide to anyone that wants to read it. And there's going to be a lot of people that want to read it. So.
Yeah, because escape is bigger than ever right now. I know for me personally, I'm kind of going to that as my go-to. Make me feel good when things are tough right now. Like read a manga, play a game, watch a show. It definitely takes my mind off things.
Yeah, to that end, at the Mythiverse YouTube channel, we've been putting up a lot of public domain book readings.
Right.
So
that's right, man.
And Brett's been doing a killer job reading Nyarlathotep and Dagon. And I've been focusing a lot on mythology and heroism primarily. I've been focusing on heroes because I think those stories are needed now more than ever. And then, of course, my daughter wrote a book, and she read it, which I thought was amazing. And I'm actually I have book 2 right here. I'm going to see if she's able to read it today.
Nice, dude. That's fun. Yeah, it's good. It's nice that you get to incorporate your daughter that way.
Yeah, she's a very enthusiastically creative person, and I want to encourage it. And I think she's, like Brett said, she's going places. I think she is, and just got to a good start.
That's kind of fun too. Kind of starting her off with this kind of stuff early. Maybe she'll develop into a passion later on when she gets older.
Yep, and like I tell my wife, even if nothing ever happens with my book or comic books, at least my daughter and sons will see that's how it's done, and that it can be done, and they might be willing to take a chance at it where they hadn't before. And
not only that, but it also instills the love of reading and creating. Like I was encouraged from a young age to read, and that's something I've always really kind of appreciated, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah, because it's like I love to read, man. I mean, I'm sure a lot of our viewers do. Obviously, we're in the comics, so it's like reading for me is like so big in my life, and it's like, man, I can't imagine if I had never gotten into it. Like I know people were like, yeah, I don't really like books, which is fine, but it's just I would miss it.
Well, when I was probably 7 or 8, probably younger, my grandmother had a whole set of these illustrated classics. Like,
yeah, dude, me too. Yeah. Yes.
And
my grandmother's the same, man.
Yeah, so she gave me all of them, and I went through them like a hot knife through butter. And
oh, that's awesome, dude. Yeah. Did you have Gulliver's Travels by any chance?
Yes.
Nice, dude. Yes.
And I see the set included, if memory serves, it had Treasure Island, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, The Time Machine, Great Expectations, Tarzan, some of the Sherlock Holmes books. Yeah, all that stuff.
That was a good series right there. Those are all good.
Yeah. I think the Sherlock Holmes book included the Red-Headed League. I think 2 other mysteries. I can't remember which one, but the Red-Headed League was the one I remember the most because it was such a ridiculous story. But
was that the one with everyone with red hair, or which one was that again?
Well, it was these guys wanted to rob this shop owner, and to do so, they had to get him out of the house during the day.
I remember this one. Yep, I know where you're going with this. Yeah.
So they had to dig during the day, so they would get him out of the house by concocting this fantastic thing called the Red-Headed League, where this guy wanted to provide a fund for men with flaming red hair, and this guy happened to have flaming red hair. Okay, so you need to be here between the hours of 9 and 4 p.m. and you have to sit here and copy out the Encyclopedia Britannica. Is that it? Yes, that's it. But if you're ever late, or if you can't provide proof that you're here, then you forfeit the money. And then as soon as Sherlock Holmes heard this story, he just laughed. He's like, "Oh God, really?" It's like, what? Have you solved the mystery? He said, Yes. I'll have an answer for you by Monday. But he figured it out pretty much on the spot. He just needed to get the proof.
And it turned out, can we spoil it? It's his old story.
It's an old story. Yeah. So basically, they were trying to rob him. To do so, they had to dig under to his house. No, they were trying to rob a bank. That's what it was. And they had to dig from his house to the bank.
Yeah. When I read that one, it was so, I never saw that ending coming. I was like, this is weird. Like, what is going on here? And I'm going to, they reveal it. I was like, that's amazing. This is just amazing right here.
It was very clever. Sure, Conan Doyle could really come up with some crazy scenarios.
Yeah, he was so good too. Oh man, I love the Sherlock Holmes short stories and even a couple of the longer form ones. They're just all really good.
Yes. My favorite long form one was the Study in Scarlet, the first one.
Yes, that's a really good one. Yeah, that one is awesome. But they're all good. A lot of good ones, and of course you got the one where I can't remember the name of it, but it's the one with the falls, the Reichenbach Falls.
Oh yeah, that was the final problem.
Yes, yeah. That was good too.
Yeah, he actually intended to kill Sherlock Holmes off and retire the character because he wanted to do other things. But, he obviously figured he would come back to it because you never saw Holmes's dead body. So he left an opening for him to come back. And he sure as hell he
did. And they based the second Sherlock Holmes Robert Downey Jr. movie on that one.
Yes. Yes, and I was, overall, I was pretty pleased with that one. I really liked how they had the final confrontation, where they were both doing the Holmes vision.
Yeah, that was good.
That was fun. That was definitely.
Usually, those movies are so impressive, I think, and I really loved the acting in it too.
Mm-hmm.
But I just love the final problem. Yeah, it's one of my favorites for sure. Just because I love the way he's kind of stalking Sherlock. You've never seen Sherlock Holmes so on edge like that.
Yeah, he was that was the first time you ever saw him really spooked. You're right.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's like, I just need to survive for 2 more days, and then Moriarty is irrevocably caught. The whole book was just about him trying to escape all these dozens of assassins that were coming after him.
Or ready to kill him, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. But sometimes it's good to go back to the classics and,
Yeah, the more classics you read, the more you understand where modern stories come from, because a lot of them draw from the classics, just like the classics drew from the ancient myths. It really helps to give you a nice, well-rounded education about these things.
That's good, especially good for writers, I think.
Oh, writers, if you don't read, then you don't have the tools to write. Period. You have to read if you want to write.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and even get out of your comfort zone. Don't just read what you want to write about. Read other stuff that you normally wouldn't think of to do. Get out of your comfort zone for sure. Read some novels. I know us comics guys, we send pretty pictures in our books, but every now and then it's good to read a novel.
Yep. Being able to describe a scene really helps you write a better comic script anyway.
Oh yeah, I can 100% agree with that. Yeah.
So anyway, I need to go. My 2-year-old is really starting.
We're out of time here anyway. Actually, just didn't notice we slipped past the 2-hour mark here.
I had a lot of fun.
Oops. We're a good conversation here. So why don't you guys give out your plugs so people can follow you and all that good stuff?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm at Dan_Sacro and Mythoverse at Mythoverse on Twitter. Our website is mythoversecomics.com. Our Patreon is patreon.com/Mythoverse. And Mythoverse Comics, sorry. Go ahead, Brett.
I'm at Celtic Brett on Twitter, and Matt is at Matt Schrin on Twitter.
All right, so so we got a lot of things baking. If you want to help us out, go over to patreon.com/mythoversecomics. And if you pledge even $1 a month, that lets us know that gives us a signal that there are people out there that like what we're doing, and that helps re-energize us. But if you pledge at $5, $7, $15, or $30, you get a whole bunch of really awesome rewards. For example, at the $7 level, you get a free audio, well, not a free, original exclusive audiobook each month. And last month we had a slice of life tale called My Friend Paige. This month the audiobook is a children's book called The New Kid and His Impressively Magnificent Hat. There is a preview for that up on our YouTube channel with an illustration by Ginger Foxy, and it's narrated by Lost Lenore, and she's doing which is Lenore King, obviously, and she's doing an incredibly cute English accent.
Oh no, Matt's been waiting to be on. How long have you been waiting, Matt? Oh, fuck. Oh no, it was just a few minutes.
Not that long, because
Congratulations, Matt. You arrived just in time for the plugs.
Well, I had other things to do.
Apparently, was it sleeping? You can be honest.
No. It was my mom's birthday, and I said, and it was, and 2:00 was when I was able to get out,
Okay. Well, that's actually understandable. Then tell her happy birthday, and yes, you definitely have a good excuse.
Yep.
Well, thanks for joining us, even if it is just here at the end. We were talking about the page you previewed recently. I was just telling him how I love it, man. I was saying how Beth has really upped her game. Like the art in the first one was amazing, but she stepped up her game, I think, in this next issue.
Oh yeah, I mean the whole plan for the story is also to up the visual experience too, such as this will have more magic involved, and the third issue will have more action, and the fourth issue will have more of a supernatural feeling, more high fantasy type kind of thing. It'll be a fun experience, I think.
Yeah, dude, that's gonna be awesome, dude. I'm super stoked about this next one coming out, especially with the first one kind of out in the public now. All 3 issues are out there,
Yeah, we're getting a lot of really good feedback about all 3 books. Now that everyone can read them side by side and see how they differ from each other, both in storytelling technique and, well, frankly, genre too. Like they are all in the same universe, yes, but there are 3 different genres. Like Mythics is much more of a mystical Sherlock Holmes type of thing, where she's solving mysteries and using logical deduction and uncovering clues. Changelings about a young girl discovering herself. There's a lot of very sweet, heartfelt, character-driven moments there for people that like that. And W. Kroger is just balls out action. So there's a little something for everybody, and it's really cool that everyone is picking up on that and saying like, "Hey, there's a little something for everybody in the Mythiverse." And these are just the first 3 books too.
Yeah, there's a lot more to come, man. Like I said, I can't wait for people to see everything to come, man. It's gonna be so awesome.
I very
look forward to.
I very vaguely, Matt, went over your proposal. I didn't give any details.
But there might be a feature on the Patreon that could help push forward the Mythiverse.
Oh, yeah. We're going to have a meeting tonight discussing all this.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, I didn't offer any details. I just said that I liked the idea, and I gave my make it so to it. Yeah. You know what pisses me off? I understand that the line "make it so" happened in Picard, but Picard didn't say it.
Huh. What?
No, I haven't watched this show. I've only watched, videos about it, but apparently either the penultimate or the final episode, a character other than Picard tells Picard to make it so.
That's awesome.
Come on.
It's this whole thing that started with the Avengers where they'll just cut out every time someone tries to say, every time Captain America says Avengers Assemble, cut out before he actually says it.
Yeah. Well, they let him say engage, but not make it so. I don't understand.
Weird. Who
cares?
Nobody. At least about that show.
The only good parts of that show was the Picard and Riker moments.
And the only good thing about that show is obviously Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, I mean,
the
good things about it were the things that we like from the old show.
Right.
So why even have this new show at all?
The thing is, the producer has already stated that he doesn't care about Star Trek canon. That he doesn't. He's not interested in continuing that.
Make a new show, dude.
Yeah, then why
care about make a new show? That's all you do.
Star Trek, make your own IP.
Right, it's that easy, dude.
The thing is, I can understand if they bring in someone who doesn't really know Star Trek or understand it, because that's what they did with Nicholas Meyer, and he directed The Wrath of Khan and The Undiscovered Country, and those movies were the best 2 of the franchise
by far. Wrath of Khan was the one that they spent how many hundreds of millions to remake in Heart Darkness. Because it's the one everyone remembers.
Yeah, and he did not know a thing about Star Trek. The only thing he knew about Star Trek was Spock was the guy with the ears. But what he did was he went over every single episode of Star Trek to figure out stuffing the perfect story, basically. Combine those with the previous scripts and inject some of what he wanted to do, such as Kirk fighting his depression over his age.
And that ended up being like you said, the best of the original films. It's the one everyone knows. Everyone knows Khan,
Yep. And The Undiscovered Country was the only one to win, I think it was a Saturn Award.
Well, that was like a thinly veiled allegory for Chernobyl and the end of the Cold War, basically. And they did it without being heavily ham-fisted about it either, which is something like these new Trekkers just can't seem to pull off.
You know what really makes me angry? That they had Nicholas Meyer involved with Star Trek, the new Star Trek shows, but then they kicked him out.
Yeah, let's kick out the guy who's written some of those iconic moments in this franchise that we're the shepherds of. But no, sure. Yeah, let's just get rid of him.
Brian Fuller was also involved with Deep Space Nine and Voyager. So, hey, let's kick out him too. Let's bring in the failed screenwriter who turned Voyager novelist.
Let's and like they were after sort of a deconstruction of the ideas in Star Trek with these new shows, obviously, and they kick out the guy who wrote Deep Space Nine. I mean, Deep Space Nine was essentially a deconstruction. It's like, what's the Federation gonna do in wartime? Like, are their ideals going to be challenged? You know, all that stuff, and they handled it very well in Deep Space Nine.
Thing is, these guys, the producers of the new Star Trek, are people who don't understand science fiction. It's a problem that's been going on since the beginning of television, where you have these guys who aren't creatives. They know nothing about science fiction except that spaceships, robots, and big budget special effects.
Well, I don't think you need to really be told if they don't know anything about space. You just have to watch how they stage their scenes. Like you posted that finale of Picard with the Federation fleet showing up, and they just were in 2 meters of each other. It's like they're bunched up as though they're in an elevator. It's like, can you like stop like 1,000,000 kilometers away maybe and assess and see what's going on? And there's lots of room to spread your fleet out.
I mean, that would have been a chain reaction if one of the ships was destroyed before they all raised their shields.
One warp breach and your fleet's dust. Oh.
Come on, Riker.
Jesus. And like you said, why was he not captaining the Enterprise? Why did it have to be the Shanghai or whatever the hell it was? Oh, of course. Yes, China. I mean, why would he have the best, strongest ship be the Enterprise? That's never happened.
The flagship of the Federation.
It is the Enterprise M. But no, it's some angled ship. And we didn't even get a good look at it either. You know, it just looked like a generic Federation model.
It looks like they copy and paste all of the models.
Oh yeah, remember what he said. I have a fleet of them at my back because we only had one model that we had to cut and paste.
It's like that scene in Monty Python the Holy Grail. Everyone looks at Camelot with then you got the guy playing King Arthur's horse going, it's just a model.
It's just a model. Oh jeez. Yeah, like I would have been even more impressed if they just showed up with Enterprise, and the Enterprise was able to like be so powerful that the Romulans had to stand down. But like no, they just need 1,500 of these ships all warping within feet of each other, and nothing even happens. They just sort of stare each other down, and that's it.
Prepare to fight, and then okay, never mind. We surrender.
We ran out of budget. We only have this one shot where they warp in and warp out. That's all we had money for.
We had to pay Peter Stewart. He has a huge demand for banquets.
Well, have you guys heard about what's the guy, Shatner?
Yeah.
Shatner has in his retainer or whatever, his writer rather, basically his notes that say this is what you have to do when you hire him. He demands a plate of sushi.
Yeah.
And they have to give it to him.
Yeah.
Every time.
It's pretty basic for actors.
Oh yeah. They all do it. They all put in little things like that. All little strange little things.
You know something?
He can be especially picky. What's that?
You know what's even more amazing with Nicholas Meyer? He was able to get Shatner to perform without ham.
Oh my god. What did he have to do?
He said basically what happened was he had them redo all the scenes until Shatner got bored and dropped the leading man routine.
That's an interesting way to do it.
Well, Shatner's an actor of another age where leading men had to act a certain way in a show.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess I could see that. Yeah, he was kind of from that era in a way.
Yeah, which is why he always says that William Shatner's an asshole. Bill Shatner's the guy you want to know.
That's funny, man. Dude, I didn't know we had such. I knew Matt was into Star Trek. I didn't know you were into Star Trek, Dan.
Well, not as much as Matt is. Like,
really? Okay.
Like Matt could definitely wipe the floor with me. Star Trek trivia, but I do enjoy it very much.
Oh, that's funny.
But you know, I've been watching I watched all the TNG episodes, Voyager and Deep Space Nine. Not as much as the original series until recently when I had time to sit and stream it. But yeah, I haven't read any of the novels or don't know much about the trivia. I just know certain things about what's readily available to the normal.
No, I've been kind of wanting to ask. So now that we have like a super fan and we have a kind of a guy who's pretty into it as well, and I don't know what Brett's level is, but have you guys seen the show? And if you have, what do you think of the Orville?
The Orville seen it.
Essentially, well, first of all, I love it because what it does is it's someone who wants to be in TNG, making a show as best as he can legally make it. a lot of the premises are essentially rehashes of TOS episodes.
That's funny.
But on the other hand, this is good science fiction and it has it does diversity very well. You know, it doesn't say it doesn't throw it in your face. It tackles social issues of the current day, like with social media and all that. And it actually works because it's shot like, a TNG episode. It's got nice, clean, even lighting. It's optimistic, it's made by a guy that loves Star Trek, obviously, and would far prefer to be doing a Star Trek show, but he legally can't.
That's funny.
So
yeah, you're right. That's all really good points. Yeah, I really enjoy it myself. It does seem like a really good homage to that genre and to that show.
Yeah, I mean, some of the scripts are literally just lifts from the old Star Trek,
really,
but it's fine as long as you can get past that and you don't let that distract you. And yeah, it's very entertaining, and I think that's what all the fans are. The fans aren't watching Discovery or Picard, that's for sure. They're watching the Orville.
That's funny, man.
Oh yeah,
more of a spiritual successor in a way than any of the new stuff they're doing.
Yeah, this is please let me make a Star Trek show.
And if not, just let me keep making this, I guess.
Yeah, and it's very good. Very good for what it is.
Season 3 is coming to Hulu.
Yeah, I highly recommend if you like Star Trek and you haven't, just watch the Orville.
Although there's one thing I have to say about it.
Yeah, what's that?
Since it's owned by Fox, it was owned by Fox, right?
Mm-hmm. Originally, I believe.
Yeah,
it's owned by Hulu.
Oh, yeah. Hulu is owned by Disney, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this is Disney Star Trek now.
Right. Hopefully, it doesn't change tone too much in the.
I hope
it's Seth MacFarlane. They're not gonna mess with it. Seth MacFarlane he gets to do whatever he wants.
He's got the clout. He can do what he wants. Yeah.
True. That is a good point.
I just hope they don't do. I just hope they don't do the Orville versus Star Wars crossover.
Nah. That'd be bizarre, wouldn't it?
And MacFarlane would probably think that's hilarious and would do it. He's got that kind of a sense of humor where he just loves to reference things.
I could see maybe an episode at least. They have a homage to it.
It's Disney, so they're gonna do an entire story arc around it with mass media tie-ins, so that you have to read everything to get to understand what's going on. And then all these massive tweets about, hey, did you know this or that? Because they couldn't put it in the story.
Oh yeah, that post-production retconning where it's like, oh, by the way, did you know that this person was actually in the battle?
Nobody cares.
And no, she wasn't because she wasn't on screen. So screw off. No, you're lying. It's like I call that the J.K. Rowling approach, where 10 years later says, oh, by the way, did you know that?
By the way,
I hate that.
Yeah. By the way, did you know that Will Shatner wrote some Star Trek novels?
Oh God, did he really?
He actually did.
Oh my God, dude.
First one was done by Paramount to do Star Trek Instruction. The second one was bring Kirk back to life in the 24th century.
Oh.
And then after that is Kirk's Adventures in the 24th century.
Kirk in the 24th century with Sherlock Holmes.
he becomes friends with Picard because Shatner and Patrick Stewart are friends. And there are some actual genius moments of humor in there, such as in the second book, they have an EMH based on Dr. McCoy. So when they bring in the real Dr. McCoy and have the EMH on, Data walks up to him and walks up to the actual McCoy and goes, I believe we have the real McCoy.
Oh, wait. I get it.
Yeah, wait. McCoy just looked at him and goes, why did you get that sense of humor? Data explains his emotion chip. McCoy just looks at Spock and goes, I know someone who needs one.
It's a data joke. It's a data joke.
Yep.
Anyway, guys, I honestly have to go, but I will talk to you all later.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I think we plugged you. So, yeah, have a good day, man. Thanks for joining with us, man.
Absolutely. Thank you.
We'll talk to you later, man. Bye-bye. So, so what you been doing, Matt?
Well, aside from getting home from lots of my parents for my mom's birthday, it's pretty much been getting stuff ready for that new Patreon exclusive and working on some short stories. And
very nice.
And working out issue 3 of Mythics because you don't stop working.
No, that's so true. You're right, man. It's funny. I've been getting stuff done myself. Like I've been doing writing and stuff on comics and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, I mean, like you said, you got to keep putting stuff out there, man.
And I've also taken some time to look at what you sent me for your novel. So I'll eventually have stuff fake for you to.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I was actually with everything going digital, I was actually thinking about maybe putting out on the Wikid store for 99 cents. You know, for the not the novel, but the shorter piece I sent you. But yeah, no, I don't know. We'll see. But I kind of because I've had the novel, and then I've also started a shorter kind of like Matt was doing. Kind of inspired me to do it was as a serialized short story series.
Yeah, which I'm more than likely going to bring back McKinnon Chronicles as a serialized short story series.
I can see it, man. I can see it honestly. It would be with the scope that you have in mind. It might fit it better, honestly.
Yeah, and the Hornblower novels were also started off as short stories.
Short stories are good too. You know, I took this from Neil Gaiman. I got this advice. He says that short stories are good for developing your writing skills because they're kind of like a unique challenge to have to put a whole story in one little, concise thing. It really pushes you to develop your dialogue, make it concise, make your writing put to the point, and push things across well. And so I definitely try to do. I think people even comic writers should take this time to maybe write a short story every now and then to help continue to develop themselves.
Yeah,
always good day. Sorry,
yeah, I would not take any advice from George R.R. Martin because he decided to instead of adapting any kind of new computers, he goes with just a DOS word processor, and the only one that has one is in his house, and he can't work on his novel while he's at conventions. So whenever you see him at a convention, that means that that's another weekend he's not working.
And it's funny because that dude cannot write. I bet he can't write a short story to save his life.
He has a series of novellas.
Really? Novellas.
They're about 100 pages long, but he still can't even get those done.
Oh man! What a man!
I think he can do short stories. Is that his mind can't cut him off.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. He keeps having to add more. He can't. That's the challenge. That's part of it. You can't add more. That's why it is. I think it's such a unique challenge. Is you have to say, well, I could go on forever, but I can't. I have to do it now and get it done in this way. So that presents, challenges always present new ways to innovate, I think.
Oh yeah, and I have a collection of fantasy short stories where they went over the author's involvement, and there's a list of books for them, and it lists A Song of Ice and Fire as a trilogy. And that was back in the late 90s.
Wow. That's pretty funny, man.
Apparently, he was supposed to kill off Robb Stark at the end of the first book, too.
Oh my god, dude. That's really, really funny. Wow. Can you imagine the guy writing that article back then and like he's like, man, we're like 20 years later and we're still doing this. Oh god.
And it's been increased to 5 books done. 2 more to go.
I can't be bothered to care at this point. It's like I saw the ending on the show. Yeah, that was good enough for me.
The ending I was so shocked.
It did, but I'm not willing to wait.
Funny thing, here's the thing about how much it sucked. It didn't have to suck as much as it did because they made some very poor creative decisions.
Well, also, they just made some bad decisions with the number of episodes too. 6 episodes is not enough episodes for a final season of Game of Thrones.
Well, I saw a video on rewriting episodes of season 8, which is basically the Long Night and the last 2 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just very simple fixes that would have made the show better and the ending stronger, such as Bran is the Night King. Daenerys does not go the Mad Queen route, but instead she keeps herself from burning down the city, and that's what ends up getting her killed at the end. And instead of Jon Snow killing Daenerys, you have Jaime Lannister killing Cersei. The moment he realized that Cersei was the biggest threat to the...
That would have been better. Yeah. Well, yeah. It would have definitely been more rewarding. That's for sure.
Yeah, and instead of doing this whole, we're going to elect a king.
How ham-fisted was that, dude?
Yeah,
gosh, dang.
They instead decided to split back into the 7 kingdoms. And Tyrion, instead of going and becoming Lord of Castle Rock, decides to spit in his father's, dance on his father's grave by giving the castle to Bronn.
That's some interesting ways to finish that. Could have been better, honestly. Yeah.
I mean, that was a better ending than what
the dragon. Did you like the part where the dragon burned down the throne? Like, no one should have the power.
I read the script for that, and that was just the act of a dumb animal. There was no foresight behind that.
That was in the script because I don't believe that.
It was in the script, and it was because
in the film it looks so obvious.
In the show, Drogon just melted the Iron Throne because it was there.
But it's like they should have just not done it.
Yeah,
they should have just not done it at all. Because sure you could say that, but at the same time, it looks like he did it on purpose. Because why else did he do it? Why would a dragon just burn that random piece of all the stuff he could burn? He's just gonna burn a throne.
He could have just burned down. I burned
the whole thing.
No, I burned Jon Snow first.
There you go. Kill Jon Snow. Kill him. You know nothing, Jon Snow. Now die.
But
what a show! It definitely didn't get a Breaking Bad ending. It did not have a satisfying Breaking Bad ending.
Nope. Thing is, and I think that's the reason why the showrunners lost their job writing Star Wars films. That and how they took the criticism.
Yeah, not well. Not well.
No, in fact, they canceled their appearance at convention because they were afraid.
They were afraid. We're afraid for our lives, man. These fans are gonna hurt us, man. No.
Fans are. They can be obsessive. They can be angry.
Sure.
But here's the thing. I don't think any of them would have seriously harmed them.
It's unlikely. It's very unlikely, I think kind of happens very rarely. Like I know we talked a little about what happened to Gavin a couple years ago, and that was crazy. Someone broke into his house on Rooster Teeth. Gavin Free. He got his house broken into by a fan. But it doesn't happen often. It's very rare.
Yeah.
Most people are pretty cool.
I mean, Leonard Nimoy used to have fans show up at his doorstep after an interview accidentally put out his address.
I think Brett's saying we should probably wrap this up.
Probably.
I just thought it was amazing. We're still going.
Oh. Yeah, seriously, it was because we were about to end, and then all of a sudden Matt jumped on, so we kind of felt bad. We're like, let's stay on for a while.
Well, you could have just said that it was ending, and okay, sure.
You literally. I think. Well, Dan said you were entered in, or Matt or Brett maybe, but you entered in right as we were giving plugs earlier.
Oops. Yeah. Well, you could definitely tell I wasn't paying attention to the show while driving.
Oh, that's funny, dude. But no, we ended up having a good conversation, so I didn't mind extending it out a little more. But yeah, we can wrap things up now that we've gone another half hour or so. Yeah, where can we follow? I think you gave your plugs, Brett. Is that right?
Yeah, and I plugged Matt's Twitter too.
Okay, nice. And then of course you can follow us at Wikid Publishing on Twitter. That's WAKID, just so you can see it spelled there. Follow us give us a follow on YouTube if you don't already, please. We're trying to grow our subscription there, but we're just we're putting stuff out. I would like to make a few announcements. Later today at 7 p.m. Pacific time and 10 p.m. Eastern time, we have a Wikid creator interview with Honors II. He's one of our awesome new creators. He's got a manga called Blood Ties, which is about a young African man who's been trained to be a shinobi and is out on a bloody path of revenge against Japan's greatest shogun, Oda Nobunaga. And so we're really excited to talk to him today about that and some of his other projects as well. And then tomorrow, we have I haven't announced this yet, but it's going to go up on Twitter today. We've got a Indie Spotlight live video tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern time with a creator named Nicholas Raven Weller, who's got a Kickstarter up right now for a book by the name of Dark Hunter, Demon Hunter Raven. So we'll be talking to him about his book. And check out our live streams. And we'll see you guys next time on the podcast. We appreciate you jumping on and chatting with us in there. And if you watch it on the replay, definitely follow our links. Go follow us on Twitter and go check out all the awesome videos out. We have a ton of back content right now. So if you're looking for stuff to watch during these times of being stuck inside, we got a ton of podcasts, interviews, you name it. So a lot of fun stuff on there to check out. So thanks again, guys, and we'll see you next time. And have a good weekend, man. Enjoy the Wikid weekend.